So that's yeah, that so by the time that the crowd had cleared out, I realized that there was just shit covering the entire floor. I guess this chick had taken some of the white stuff in her nose, but somebody had cut it with baby laxative and just
Oh
shit
no.
everywhere.
You know, that's like when I used to work at Burger King. Like, the worst thing in the world at Burger King was cleaning the bathrooms. Not just because it sucks to clean a bathroom, but because the guy's bathroom was a mess, right? There's stuff, more or less. But the woman's bathroom was always a horror show. When I say a horror show, I don't just mean like, oh, they had like, products in places. It was literally like fucking this
It's
one woman.
everywhere.
It was no, I'm not kidding. I remember opening this one stall, and it looked like some woman just kind of like stood over the thing and parted her ass cheeks and just. There was a perfect like rainbow of shit on the wall. It was so bad that like seriously, fuck everybody, and holy fuck, man. All right, I'm gonna
Oh,
hit the
you
live. Oh
started
shit, we were
already.
live the whole time. Oh yeah, hi everybody. This is Thorne and Flesh Priest. What is up,
Oh,
everybody?
good.
Nah, we knew we were going live, but for real, yeah, tonight is kind of a fuck it stream. I don't really have as much that I would be talking about. Like, there's nothing deeply spiritual that I want to talk about. I've just kind of like, I'm in that mood where it's like, you know what? Like, I just feel like I would like to go to a bar tonight, and I'd like to bring my mouth guard with me, and just fucking start making fun of baseball teams and shit, and just see who throws down, just because I'm just like in the mood. Like, I'll just bring my mouth guard, and just like after like when I take a drink, just slip it in like Mets suck, just fucking go with somebody right now. I'm kidding. I don't necessarily want to fight with anybody, but I am in like that fuck you mood tonight. It seems like a lot of people are in that mood because like all this week it's been like I must be getting a new batch of haters in, because it's just like I'm getting like all these little criticisms and nasty comments. So it's like, oh, you know what? Just eat your whole ass. Oh, David Morgan. I haven't seen David Morgan in a little bit. We missed you too, brother. What's up, David Morgan? David's awesome. But yeah, so how I know your week's also been a flaming board with shit on it that someone's been trying to jab in your face and tell you to take a big bite out of it. So tell us
Yeah,
about your
but
week.
just fucking, what can I say? Day job. Just working constantly. Not as bad as last week, though. Last week, I literally got home. Like, the reason I wasn't on the stream, because we were messaging, but I
Mm-hmm.
got home at like 4 my time. Stream starts 7 where I'm at. I got home at 4 and I just passed the fuck out, and I woke up at 8. Stream is already an hour in. I'm like, oh, can't do it. Went back to sleep until 1 in the morning.
I probably shouldn't be showing the brand, but there's somebody in there who loves orange soda. I do. I do. What's up, orange soda? Fucking Hermit's here. Hellspine's here. Caroline Boves is here. Thorne, have you lost weight? Yes, I have. I
Yeah,
sort of
right, he
recognize you.
has.
I guess I haven't seen you in a while. I lost about 80 pounds. I'm going on the last 20 or 30 right now. So I'm approaching 80 pounds. Like, I'm struggling with this last 20 or 30 pounds. Like, they're hanging on for dear life. I went on keto, and it just like somebody took a vacuum and stuck it to my gut, just sucked it all out. So
Don't worry,
you
no,
know,
he hasn't lost any weight in that big head of his.
no, neither one of them. Actually, you know what's cool? Like, actually, that'd be a fun thing to talk about. Like, the quirks that happen when you lose weight. You know how you know you're like a tank ass fat motherfucker is when you're trying on shoes and you're like, oh my god, my shoes fit better. And these shoes that were tight before, they're like totally loose. I need like extra socks or a smaller size shoe. That's how you know like you were way too fat. And your rings, like I had to buy a bunch of new rings because my favorite ring in the whole world, this one, I'm probably gonna put it on a wand or something. It doesn't fit on the finger that I bought it for. It fits on my pointer finger, but I have to like put it on my middle finger. So I gotta rebuy it now and I have to find it. It wasn't expensive, it was like $10. But for real, it's like, it's weird to fucking lose all this weight. What's nice is I'm only going to drop about one shirt size though, because I was always wearing 3X, and 2X is just about right. Especially if it's slim fit, it'll probably be perfect when I lose it all.
Oh, damn.
So, yeah.
That's
It's
fucking
pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Like, the clothes that I'm almost down to the gi size I wore in high school. So like I was a size 6 in martial arts clothes. And actually I was 5 when I was 13, but I became a 6. And now I am a 7 even. So Oh, I have a visitor. Yes. No, you don't have to do that. See, I'm in such a shitty mood. My wife must know. She's giving me my birthday present early. Will you stay there? What is this? What did you do?
Ba, ba,
What
ba,
did you do?
ba,
Yeah.
ba, ba.
Oh, oh, I
What
like
is it?
that. I was eyeballing one not too different from that. Oh, all right. I'll be setting this up while we're talking. It is, and I don't need silver. Like, don't buy me silver. Get me stainless steel. I like. Look at this.
Oh, bitchin',
It's like
Ouroboros.
a, yeah, but it's also got the infinity symbol thing going on.
Heck
I
yeah.
like that. Ooh, that's nice. Ooh, Lucifer, do you mind being replaced for about an hour? What is up, bro? Thank you, sweetie. Hopefully you got me the right necklace.
I
You'll also have to
forgive you,
send it back.
Thorne.
He's like, it's still me. I'm the dragon. It's fine. Thank you, sweetie. You know what? Give me a second, guys. I have to do this. Hold on. Here, keep him entertained for a minute. You might hear some slurping sounds. Hold on.
Oh, the slurping sounds good. Oh, shit. Well, I am happy that all of you are here, and for Eddie, I didn't get to say happy birthday to you, but I know it was your birthday yesterday, and Cry, if you're here, happy birthday to you as well, my dude.
Eddie is a fantastic Dungeons & Dragons player. He's very good. I do enjoy playing.
I would not know yet.
Well, he is very good at playing. I don't know how good he'll be as a game master when he gets a chance, but as a Dungeons & Dragons player, he's pretty freaking good. Plays in character pretty well. Like, I'm not gonna say he's like the best actor, but he totally thinks in character. He doesn't take meta information, and he's very polite, and he makes a good leader of the party. We'll put it that way. Like, he does a really good job at being that guy. So
Sounds like he took over my role as Warlock. What the fuck?
he did. I gave you every opportunity, bro. I gave you every opportunity, and you're just like, no, my vagina hurts. I'm kidding, but it's Saturday ain't your day, so
It's pronounced
I would
mangina.
love to
Thank
bring
you very
you.
much.
I would love
It's
to
where I
bring you
keep
into
my
this.
magic.
I would love to bring you into this setting though. Ooh, what's this piece? What's this piece? I'll have to figure that out later. Yeah, it comes with like a weird little tubey thing, man. I think I know what that's for, actually. Let me hook that up.
Who loves orange soda says met a new chick yesterday. She's cute in the face, but built like Thanos. That's... Some consider that a plus.
I mean, not me, but I'm not a hater either. I just have a press.
I cannot read... I cannot read this name, but they ask...
Oh, my beard's not...
They ask, I want to ask a question.
There's only one. Is there supposed to be
Thorne,
one?
what do you think about HK?
So maybe it just came with one.
It just came with one. Okay. Well, you'll have to
Yes,
teach me how to
it's
braid my
also
beard
like
if I
when
grow
you-
up. Yeah, when I grow it longer, I'll let you do that. Just show me how. She's trying to make me all Slipknotish with like long beards with freaking braids in them and shit.
Is that a
think it was
Slipknot
Slipknot.
thing?
I thought it was Slipknot. Maybe not. Maybe it's
Oh,
more
no,
like an M on M Arts type of thing.
Okay, so I know I'm
Oh, you know what? I think
but
maybe there was two. No, there was one.
yeah, I skipped
No, there
the
is
whole
two, sweetie.
Slipknot thing.
There's
I was
two.
too busy with power metal and shit.
There's two. All right, cool. I know. When I get my Fu Manchu grown out just right, I'm gonna freaking put them on there. All right, let me bring my microphone back. There we go. You can probably hear me better now.
Somebody was asking,
Wait, before you get to that, Nina, thank you. I forgot to say hi before. And it was like, DH Thorne, what's up? And we always remember to say hi to her because she's so sweet. I'm actually planning on being on her channel sometime in the next couple of weeks. She started doing her own stuff, and I'm planning on
she's been
a
doing
Sunday.
stuff.
She's always been doing stuff, but she's making more of a go of it, and I'm really hoping to be on her show sometime in the next couple of weeks. So, watch this space. When I know I'm going on, I'll make an announcement. Sometime in early April, most likely. My schedule's getting weird lately, so I'm having a hard time confirming like when I can do it. But I haven't forgotten you, sweetheart. You're awesome. I want to be on your show. All right, so go ahead. Go with your question or whatever it was.
They were asking, what do you think about HK? I believe that's Hong Kong, this context.
Where's the rest of it? Yeah, read it to me.
Is it because Hong Kong people very weak, so can't protect by the Hadass, or Lucifer only choose the CPP, not Hong Kong
Okay,
people?
let me see. Okay, I want to ask some question. It's about Thorne. Okay, how you feel about Hong Kong? I stand with the people of Hong Kong who want to be free, and that'll probably watch the screen go black, right? Because I said that. Fucking. So here's the deal. Okay. So here's your question. You're asking, how do I feel about Hong Kong, and what about Lucifer? What does Lucifer think about this? Isn't he supposed to be our freedom? Why isn't Hong Kong free? Okay, so this has come up actually in a live stream not too long ago, and it's actually a really good question, a really good teaching moment, I guess we'll say. Lucifer doesn't set you free. By that I mean he doesn't come along with a pair of fucking bolt cutters and just like set you free. He's not going to put you on the Luciferian railroad, okay? He's not going to do that. Lucifer is not about just saying, here's the open door, run, my friend, run free. Freedom that is given to you is not freedom, right? Yeah, I mean, you could say technically I'm free now because I don't have any bars around me. You know, I mean, we're not talking about like, you know, we are, pragmatically speaking, that would free you. But real freedom, Luciferian freedom, the deep freedom that we're talking about with Lucifer, is not about these obvious things, and it's not something that can be just given to you. Lucifer will show you the guiding light of what freedom looks like, and you got to set yourself.
You got to walk for it.
You got to walk for it, right? I'm not saying you won't help, but you got to do the work. Some people have equated what happened in the United States in the late 1700s with 1776 and all that to be inspired by a Luciferian energy. And this energy happens all the fucking time. It really does. It's just we go in cycles of freedom and slavery, and we're really going into a bad cycle of slavery in the next 50 years or so. I'm going to be really shocked if we don't go into a new dark age. It'll be a technocratic dark age, but it will be a dark age. So we'll have more information than ever, but we won't be allowed to access it, that kind of thing. So I don't have a lot of hope for you guys in Hong Kong. You know, I really don't. The CCP, I can't say too much again because, you know, I just had my channel shadow banned over the nonsense from November, we'll put it that way. So talking too much about politics threatens my channel because YouTube has all the power when it comes to this platform. So if I say the wrong things, the amount of attention that I get with their algorithm will disappear. Now I'm aware that, you know, does that make me a sellout for worrying about that? No, not exactly, because just like I don't run down the street right now with a gun in my hand and try to make, you know, forceful changes on the world, just because I don't like somebody doesn't mean I go to their house and beat them up. I'm not here to free the world. And if you saw the picture for this stream, it was Alan Watts, and it was Alan Watts saying, people question why I smoke and drink and all of this stuff. If I'm some enlightened guru, how come I do these things that they don't like? And he says, remember, I'm not here to tell you how it should be. My philosophy is about telling you what I see. So I'm not here to free the world. I've got to remind myself of that because I'm still attached sometimes to the world. I'm still attached to these issues, right? But I'm learning the hard way to let go. And the people of Hong Kong, I support every effort that they make to free themselves. And, you know, I know that, like the people of Singapore, for example, you know, they had a hand in trying to stop things as well. There's people who want to be free everywhere, and they're involved in everything. And unfortunately, they're the underdog right now. And so what we have to do as freedom-loving people, we have to literally take that freedom and keep that light blindingly bright, but keep it potentially occulted in the years to come. We're going to have to find a way to keep it alive, but not be persecuted for it. And that's going to be very difficult. The biggest thing we have to do is get control over the minds of the people. We have to, you know, you can't undo programming. When someone has been brainwashed, when someone has Stockholm sickness, right, Stockholm's disease, when someone really loves their captor and their enslaver, it's really fucking hard to ever bring them back. I'm not saying you can't do it, it's just really hard. That person for the rest of their life will question. And I know a lot of people, I'm friends with them. There's a lot of people that I'm friends with right now who are very smart, they're rational, they're generous, kind people. We don't see eye to eye on anything political, And I worry about them. I worry about what they're going to unleash in their life, because their first impulse isn't the same as mine. And more than that, I worry about what they're going to help unleash in my life. But you know what? How much can I blame them for it, right? If they're not actively, if there's a difference between somebody who just thinks a little different and someone who goes out and goes to war with you over that difference. And I've decided, at least for a while, I am nonpartisan. I am no longer part of their game. I don't fucking care who wins. I don't fucking care what they do. All I know is humanity is marching towards what I call the meat grinder of history. And the meat grinder of history is literally the singularity. It's the singularity where humanity is going to either jump into this meat grinder and be obliterated, or is going to merge with the machine. One way or the other, we're going into a meat grinder. And what we are as human beings is going to go away. Probably within our lifetimes, certainly not much longer than a generation or two. Within our lifetimes, our feet are going into that meat grinder right now, I think. And I don't see humanity as it was up until the year 2000. We'll say 2000, 2001 was when it really started to shift. And most people who are sensitive know 2001 was like a big shift. It wasn't just because the Twin Towers happened. Everybody could feel a big shift in the world. And it started then, and it's not going to stop. And the integration of our technology is a wonderful thing, but the problem is the powers that be know that all they have to do is get us all dependent upon it, and then all they have to do is use that as a way to control us all. So that's what they're doing, and everybody's falling for it because everybody's ignorant, stupid, and childish, and there's too many generations that are still in control of things that are still childish about these things. And the children that are coming up to understand technology, they lived with their whole life. They don't know the alternative. They don't know that they can be free without it. They don't know what it's like to walk down the street and go to a bar and hang out every single day like I do, right? How many of you guys that are under 40, like Jennifer Vasa, I know she'll know. And I know maybe, I don't know if Steroid Maximus is here. I'm sure Eddie knows. A lot of people don't know what it's like to not be able to rely on Discord and Facebook and YouTube and instant messengers and all of this to socialize. When I was younger, we didn't have any of that. I had a hard phone stuck on the wall. I know I sound like a boomer right now. I'm sure Des is like, shut up, boomer. I had to go and I had to pick up the damn thing, and I didn't have an electronic way to do it. I had a list of 40 names with phone numbers like tattooed to my wall, and I'd just pick one and I'd call it. I'd be like, yo, what's up, Dookie? And he'd be like, hey, what's up? And we'd just fucking talk on the phone, and then we'd make plans, or my friend would just show up at my house. And I miss that shit, to be brutally honest. Mike, if you're listening, fucking show up at my house and throw a rock at my window, asshole. I'm fucking depressed.
Kids these days don't know how much fun it is to, while you're on the call with somebody, spiral your finger between that coily line.
True, exactly. And even if you had the wireless like we did, we weren't that ghetto, man. I had a wireless phone. What's wrong with you? But yeah, I mean, they don't know what it's like to have a social life, and I think that's something that's depressing, trying to meet friends in the new millennium, post 2020 is so much of our relationships are virtual. Like right now, Des, you're pretty much like you and EA and like one or two other people, you're my virtual friends, and you're pretty much my only and best friends, like right now. Like I don't really talk to like my so-called like real life friends anymore. Like they're just kind of like they don't matter anymore. Like no offense to if anyone catches us. Like this is our life now. It's all virtual. Yeah, this is it. This is life now. And I hate it because, I'm a goth motherfucker, and I miss going to the club every Saturday. I miss fucking having heavy metal shows at the bars. It's not even about, the COVID issue. It's literally, even when COVID wasn't here, they didn't have that anywhere anymore. They haven't had stuff like that in almost 15 years, it seems like.
Yeah, it's funny because I don't really have a frame of reference for what bars were like beforehand, because I only started going to bars within the past couple years, and yeah, it is kind of an interesting experience going, and everybody's on their phones, everybody's on like in their corner.
Right? Like, fuck you guys, what are you doing? Now, I'm not saying that it has to be bars, by the way. I'm actually not much of a drinker anymore. Even when I was a drinker, I was an event drinker. I wasn't a constant drinker. I wasn't like it's Tuesday, let's drink. It was, we're at a party, or It's just I want to get drunk tonight. Like it was an event, and it was like once a month, once a week, you know. So I have actually so much booze in my house. People think I'm an alcoholic. That's because I don't drink it. I open it, take a few sips because it's like a present. I want to try it, and then I put it under the cupboard and I don't touch it for like a year, and I forget I even have it. So
Yeah, having bottles of alcohol in your liquor cabinet, that's not a sign of an alcoholic. It's the overflowing glass recycling bin full of fucking like gin and
that's
shit.
the sign.
Yeah.
Right? Well, unless you're really cheap and it's all plastic. But yeah, exactly. But so what I'm getting at, and this is why I push so hard with this fantasy. What's up, Ace? That's why I push so hard for this fantasy of the left-hand retreat, right? The idea of making or renting or buying or somehow getting together, even just a fucking yearly event where we all meet somewhere and have a conference, right? Like, you know, start with like 10 people who can make it, and then everybody next year agree to bring one extra person and just make it bigger. So now, unfortunately, my friend with the Asian characters, my Chinese is so bad I cannot read your name. So I'm just going to say the guy with the Chinese kanji. I actually do speak a little bit of Mandarin, but I'm not good at it, so I won't insult you by pretending to read it. I'd have to use a thing. But my tones absolutely suck. So I could say the words, but it would sound like I'm saying go eat shoe leather because I can't say the tones right. But he says, thank you for your description. It's great. I also not talk about police, but it's on the souls of Hong Kong is very power. There's over 100 million people walking the street, but show this. Yeah, exactly. They're kind of like giving up and giving in because what are they going to do? Like, what are they going to do? Are they going to go face the tanks like they did in Tiananmen Square? I mean, what happened to that guy with his bag? Look it up. He's gone. Nobody knows what happened to him. They threw him under the tank. They just ground him up and used him as fertilizer. So, what are you going to do, man? I mean, what are you going to do? And all we can do is just hopefully everybody just, if you care about freedom at all, then I hope everybody's got a thought for them. That's all I'm going to say. And if you can get out, get out. I'm sure you probably can at this point, but if you can, get out. But all of that, some version of that is coming everywhere in the world right now. In the coming decades, the safest place to be is probably going to be the third world, to be brutally honest. Anywhere where they have a lot of technology, you're going to be getting thrown into the same meat grinder that people you see in Asia getting thrown in right now in under communist China and Hong Kong. It's all coming. It may be less. It may not be the same. It'll be of a cultural form that you're going to be more okay with, but it's still going to suck. And they're going to do it slow enough that, by the time Desmond's my age, he's going to be like, man, what the fuck are they doing? How come my internet, like I have to watch what I say on my emails now? What the fuck? Like, this is some bullshit. What do you mean my video games can't have this in it? What do you mean? It'll probably get to the people of that generation. And my son, who's 18, they're Gen Z. Gen Z is a lot less, they're way less freaking, like, they see it. They see everything coming, and they're like, they're nihilistic like Gen X. Like, they're just like, well, we're fucked. They just yeet themselves into the fucking street. Like, I'm done. Fuck this shit. I'm out. Because they know that they're fucked. They know they can't do anything. And so they're going the way of Gen X, but they're going to be a lot more of them. So we have some hope for Gen Z. Hopefully they bring back the freedom a little bit, But I think for the next generation or so, buckle up, buckaroos, because you're going for a ride on the fucking dystopia, whirlwind. And that meat grinder's coming. And you're going to love every minute of it because they're going to make sure that you say you do. They're going to make sure that you have all of the stupid little programs that you think are going to help you, and they're going to tweak it. They've been spending the last 100 years tweaking the system so that when they impose it, most people will comply with it. Not out of fear. They'll comply with it because there's just no other alternative, right? It's not going to be as heavy-handed as I'm making it sound. It's probably going to come in where it's like, it's just normal for people to like not have freedom of speech. Oh, no, you can still say whatever you want, but you can't say it online. Don't you dare say this online, because then you might not be able to get a bank loan. That's all. And it'll just become normal. It'll be like not saying, something rude today about something sexist or something. It'll just be like that. So we'll all just slowly be pushed into this. And people who see it coming like me will be forced to either accept it or just eject from the whole thing and just be a hermit. And I don't know, I like Hermit. Hermit's pretty cool. Just call me Hermit the Thorne. That's what I'll do. Hermit the Thorne.
We got a sticker from Vince Cashmere with
Thank you,
a
Vince.
dancing blob. Thank you.
Oh shit. What's up, Vince? Thank you, brother.
Not to loop back, but that left-hand path retreat, what would that be called? It has to be something con.
I mean, I think I see it as a con and also a retreat. And what would we call the con? Pandemonium Symposium. Pandemonium, because the city in hell was the castle, the fortress in hell is called Pandemonium, the Hill of Pandemonium. What's up, Quincy?
Oh God, but con.
No, Eddie, not everything is ass. I mean, we'll have a chamber called the Chamber of Ass, and you can hang out in there with everybody. Well, I'll probably be in there too, to be honest. No, not ThorneCon. I know I seem really arrogant and self-centered, but even I know not to make it all about me. Come on, now. You know what I need? I need you to make me a throne so I can sit like this with my hands on a pair of skulls. Can you make me one of them?
I could probably whip something up.
Like, for real, if you make it like, and then all I gotta do is put it together, I will pay you like $300-400. Can I commission that from you?
You need a big old fuck off Conan the Barbarian sword, though, to rest like by your foot and across one knee as you lurch forward against it on the throne.
I mean, I think you know who you're talking to, right? So there's gonna be spears or swords or something hanging out.
I know.
I mean, I got
there's
one
probably
right
like
here.
a dozen within arm's reach.
I just bought this bad bitch today. I haven't really even taken it out to try it yet. This is a Tinker Pierce bastard sword, which is kind of a cheap but functional sword, which I like that. You know, that's always good for me. So look at that point, right? You get the point? Oh, you can't see it good. Look at that. Yeah. Good shit. But no, I bought this because springtime's here and I need to find an excuse to go outside and hit trees with stuff. So
I was meaning to ask you now. With all the weight you lost and everything, do you find yourself having more energy?
Yeah, a little bit. I definitely. So even at 325 pounds, I was able to run up between 1.5, 2 flights of stairs without getting badly winded. Like, I could get to the top and hold the conversation. Now I don't get winded anywhere.
Do that. I'm 150.
Well, I've always had really good cardio, despite being a fat fuck. Like, I could keep up with you at my job. You might not even be able to keep up with me. Now, I'm not fast. I'm not like the hardest worker. I definitely don't have the stamina that a smaller guy had, but I could do my job. And, you know, I had to plod along, but I could do it. So for somebody who's like a fraction of my weight, like I laughed because it's like, we'd get somebody into my job who wasn't used to it, and they would collapse within like they'd quit. Like, they can't do like a day or two of it. Now, I'm going to be doing it for the weekends to help out my family this week. This coming month in April. So I'm going to be doing it for a couple of weeks. Maybe I'll just keep doing it all summer, just 2 days a week, just to help, because we're short a lot of people. And they're like, oh my God, I need help. I'm like, you can pay me, in green cheddar, and I'll fucking, I'll just throw that in the back of my safe. And I could always use the extra money. I'm not doing anything on the weekends. So fuck it, and I can quit anytime I want because I got this going on. I don't have to work. So, not that kind of work. I mean, I got work plenty to do on this end. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's not.
Oh, I
it's
know.
not. It's not. It doesn't feel like work to me. It feels like. Let's put it this way: Facebook and Discord and YouTube are things I would do anyway, right? I would do everything I'm doing now, but I would do it anyway. So it's nice to get paid for something I'm going to do anyway. And writing books on the side, something I'd do anyway. Working with spirits on the side, I do it anyway. Making videos of it, do it anyway. So none of that's changing. So back to your questions, brother.
Jacob Dow says, hi, currently laid off for the week, so I'm finally able to see the show. Fucking happy to have you here, dude, and thank you for the super chat.
Yeah, thank you, Jacob. I'm sorry you're laid off, but if it's just for the week, then, try to make the most of it. I guess it's not quite a layoff. I guess that just means they kind of like didn't have work for you, but find a way to make it work for you, man. Even if that means just being relaxed and having a good time. But my advice, don't let found time go to waste, right?
That's my problem.
It doesn't mean you go get another job. It doesn't mean you stress out. I mean, if you're going to do nothing, invoke that Belphegor and absolutely fucking live it. Live that. In fact, that's a spirit I'm going to put on my block. I'm going to work with Belphegor sometime in the next couple of weeks, I'm sure. Like, intentionally, not just realizing that he's all over my life. I'm going to actually, like, reach out to him and be like, oh, I smell shit everywhere. Oh, God, it's him. Oh, man, you're smart, though. Like, that's the thing. Belphegor is, he might even be one of the most powerful. So Belphegor is, when we were doing the 7 deadly sins, he's one of the ones that's associated with sloth. And so Belphegor is utterly, he's one of the smartest and wisest spirits you'll ever come across from my intuition and reading. And the thing is, he's very much about laziness and very much about do it tomorrow. And that's one of the reasons why he's like that, is because everything's so easy for him that he's just like, I'll take care of it later. Like, don't ask him for shit. Don't ask Belphegor to take care of anything for you, because like that's going to be, in my impression, I'm getting that vibe already. Like, Belphegor is not going to be like, here's millions of dollars, here's everything, here's all your dreams. It's going to be more like, here's a bunch of wisdom, you figure it out. You know, you do it. That's my expectation. I'm going to put, so everybody listening to this, if I ever do a demon review for Belphegor, remember what I'm saying. Let's see if I'm accurate on my in my intuition. Yeah. So thank you, Jacob. Like, definitely use that time to better yourself.
And we also have a super chat from Hellspine who says, "Hail King Paimon."
Hail King Paimon. Fucking awesome.
I got a little bit of why the fuck did that movie just leave my mind?
Thank you, Eddie. That was a good hit, by the way.
I just want
to remember your thought. He says, yeah, no, don't ask Belphegor for stuff. He's the gnosis of decay and eternal rest. I buy that. All right, keep going, Fleshy. Didn't mean to cut you off. Just wanted to jump in there.
No, I can't fucking finish my thought anyways. I can't think of the name of that damn movie right now. You know, I did not think I would. I was hoping I wouldn't need it, but it's time for me to crack open an energy drink. I'm fucking tired.
Like, tonight I would drink. Like, if you were living nearby, dude, I long for the day when you live within a stone's throw. Like, not even a car drive. I'd like to, like, have you as, like, a nearby neighbor, because I would just be like, I'm coming over. I don't care if you're naked or not. Fucking, we're hanging out. And, like, you would have to do that to me, too. And I'd be like, I got the fire going. Get your ass over here. We're just going to sit around and drink or some shit. Because it's like, I have that so
little nowadays.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't need it every day, but it would happen at least a couple times a week, man, because it's the thing that sucks the most about having friends is not seeing them.
And you would man, if you said it like a joke that I'm coming over right now, I don't care if you're naked or whatever, but no, that literally would be the case. Like, okay, you can come over, but you're gonna see some shit. I'm not stopping you, but you better be emotionally and mentally prepared.
I would have to get, what is it? I'd have to put like a little bit of electrical tape on my glasses just to have his little censored bar for like when I come over. Just, yeah, hold on, okay, good. What are you gonna say?
No, that was it.
Oh man. So no, it feels good to fucking talk about something else. But yeah, like this week, like, you know, just, you know, Jen reminded me, like, because I mentioned on the Discord, like, what the fuck, I must be doing something right, because out of nowhere this week I've had, and they're really nobodies, they're really nothing, they don't matter, they're not opinions that I care about, but instead of just deleting the comments, I feel this urge to respond to them, you know, and I realize, like, you know, I get used to having friends and fans around, and when you get that asshole that just shows up and says something, especially when it's somebody who wasn't an asshole all the time, like they had a few nice comments before, and then they say something that's like kind of negative or something. Not a criticism, right? I think, like, I'm fine with like kind criticism. If someone says, you know, Thorne, I think you need deodorant. Oh shit, okay. You know, that's not a problem. But when someone couches it in rudeness and assertive rudeness and shit like that, and then you are like, hey, I don't give a fuck what you have to say, I'm gonna do my way anyway, like, because you see through it as a bullshit comment, then they get offended that you don't want to fucking hear it. Yeah, you know, that's just like, I don't have time for that shit. I don't have time for that shit in my life. So, but you got to have a thick skin doing this, guys. Like, and that's something I have to remind myself of occasionally, because when you start small, when you're just a dude with like 100 subscribers or something, you're lucky if you get someone who's a hater jumping on there talking shit. You might get one, you might get two, but they're easy to deal with. As you get bigger, you're used to dealing with mostly people who like you. And YouTube, for whatever reason, I don't know how they do it. They sort of minimize how much hate you get unless you go out of your way to attract people that are going to hate you. So like if you're just putting your stuff out, if you're just shedding your light and you're sharing it in the groups that would appreciate it, you don't collect that many haters unless like you're really a dick and you piss people off or something. So, for me, getting negative comments is laughable most of the time. I mean, most of the time I'll post them when I get like a negative review. Like people are like, "Oh, Thorne, you're so arrogant and egotistical." If you follow my Discord, you'll know that the most reviews that I put up there are ones of people talking shit about me because I find it funny. Like the ones who leave me a negative review, I find them, I mock them because they're usually just like really poor ideas, right? They're not even just that they don't like me. It's like obviously just some dumb shit that's just like, where did you even come up with this? So the thing that's got me going though, the thing that's got me down, if you want to put it that way, is not that people are talking shit, because that doesn't change. That's always there. There's always somebody who's gonna be like, "Oh, Thorne, he's just an edgy asshole. Oh, Thorne, he talks too much. Oh, Thorne, he's very arrogant and self-centered. And Thorne. Okay, I live in your head. That's really cool. You don't like me. That's also really cool. Most of the time I don't care. I just delete the comment. But what gets to me is when it gets to me. I don't know if that makes sense, but when it does get to me, that's when it bothers me. And then I've got to go through like this kind of process, like Gilgamesh going through the mountains to get to the other side. I got to go through this darkness before I come out. It's not even about like, oh, I feel bad about myself. It's not self-consciousness. It's I have a saying, like when you have an emotional disorder, for example, you will feel depression and anger or anxiety, and then you will rationalize why afterwards. Because those feelings are first. The feelings they're unnatural. They're not caused by anything. So like if you have anxiety, if you have panic attacks and anxiety, like I get those, like I'm not gonna lie, I get them. And if you get those, you'll experience a situation where there's literally nothing wrong in your whole life. Everything is fine. And you will suddenly have this fear of anxiety or depression or panic or whatever the fuck it is. And then if you don't have any kind of mellow, if you don't have any kind of chill, you will find an excuse for it, and then you'll act on it, or then you'll feel it extra, like it'll exacerbate it. So if I'm having a lot of like depression, and then I look and see that my books aren't selling well, instead of just going, oh, well, I got to do something and make my book sell, maybe I got to write another book or something, instead of being constructive with that feeling and that criticism, it then hits you different, right? It becomes, oh, I guess the gravy train's over. I guess I got to get a day job again. This sucks. Oh man, and it hits you wrong. So it doesn't change when you're successful in life. You still have those things happen to you, I guess is what I'm getting at. And what bugs me the most is when it bugs me. And most of the time, right? And most of the time, growing up, I was always the fat outcast kid, and I had to work really hard to become popular and have friends. And I did a pretty good job. By the time I was a senior in high school, I was of the outcasts, I was one of the most popular ones. If I had a party, 80 people would show up. There's pictures of me. I'm never with less than 10 people. Like I always had a lot of friends because I made friends. My mom, with all the things that have happened in our life, one of the best pieces of advice she gave me was, if you want to have a friend, you got to be a friend. And so I tried to be a friend as much as I could to people who were as different as can be for me. I didn't look at the world and say, well, here I am, a goth metalhead or whatchamacallit, a grungy 90s Nirvana kid or a Metallica guy or something, and not hang out with other people like that were different. I made sure that I never said, oh, you're into rap, we can't be friends. Like I never did that. I was always reaching out to people. You were gonna say something. I think you and I did the same shit, because my clique or whatever in high school of like people that I formed up, pretty much the only thing we had in common is that we were all a little offbeat. And I like those people, unless they're dicks, but I generally like those people. And you know what? There's a lot more people who think they're offbeat than people who think they're normal. Mm-hmm. Like there's an 80s saying, and I think it's an 80s saying, Jen can back me up if she remembers it. I forget who said it, but there was a scene in some movie where someone's like, be an original just like everybody else. And that is the soul of Gen X, man. That is absolutely like the heart and soul of Gen X. Being original, just like everybody else. So being an outcast, being a misfit. 90% of the people that I've ever encountered like to think of themselves as a misfit. Now, maybe that's just because like attracts like when it comes to social stuff. You know, like as someone with a higher IQ, I will say that I generally am surrounded by people who are very intelligent. And I don't realize it, you know, I don't think of them or me as that intelligent because that's what I'm surrounded by. Then I go to the supermarket and or Walmart or something, and I see the average and I go, ooh, oh yeah, no, okay, I understand, I get it now. So yeah, yep, I'm a nonconformist just like everyone else, Jen says. So, you know, that's the thing, we end up in our own echo chambers, and that happens with spirituality too, that happens with everything. So, you know, as I sit here and I become more and more popular and famous, as I slowly crawl my way to 5,000 subs, as you know, and that should be within 8 to 10 months or less. I should be at 5,000 subs. As I'm slowly climbing the ladder and gathering more and more fans and friends and followers and people who question what I have to say, you know, I feel like one of the things that I need to repeat very often is I'm not here to be an example of the best of anything. I'm not here to change the world. I'm not here to tell you how to live your fucking life. And I'm not a role model, right? I have a saying that if you put me on a pedestal, as soon as I realize you've put me on one, you know what I like to do? I like to kick that fucker out from under me so I land on you and fucking break your skull, because I can't stand people putting me on a pedestal. And the reason for that, when you put somebody on a pedestal, it's like you own them. And if they don't conform to what made them popular and special in their eyes to start with, it bothers them. So like, think about like rock stars that you like this just happened with Marilyn Manson. So everybody loves his music. They spend years worshiping his music. They're like, oh, Marilyn Manson's the best. Oh, and he's like satanic, and oh, he's like edgy, and he's cool, and blah 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 blah. And then he gets in trouble for like whatever it was he did with some woman, and now he's getting Me Too'd to death, and maybe he's got it coming, right? Maybe he did something wrong, sure. But you got a lot of these people that are like now burning their CDs of him. Like, that's putting someone on a pedestal. That's
were we
putting
burning?
them in a. Remember Marilyn Manson a few months ago when everybody loved Marilyn Manson, and then he got in trouble for something with some girl that he did something wrong to. I guess he raped her. I don't know what the fuck he did.
I know there was something about Marilyn Manson, but I don't fucking know what happened. I don't really give a shit.
Well, it was a big to-do, and when it happened, suddenly everybody that was his biggest fan now suddenly was burning his CDs and shit. So I was talking about the idea of like, don't put people on pedestals, because it's not fair to do to them, and it only hurts yourself. Like, if somebody puts me on a pedestal, it's like they're saying they own me. And I'm not here to be your role model. I'm here to be me, and if you like me, then you're going to like me. If you don't like me, I'm not changing for you. Like, I don't give a fuck if you like how I dress. I don't care if you think I'm rude. I don't care if you think I talk too much. I don't care if you think I'm full of myself. If you feel these things and don't like it, bye. I don't care. I don't work for you. Even if you bought my books, even if you sent me $5 once, nope, don't care. You don't own my life. You don't get to tell me how to live, and I'm not on a pedestal for you. So all I'm saying is when what happened with Marilyn Manson happened, a lot of people were suddenly like, oh, I hate that guy. I hate that guy now. Oh, I can't like his music anymore, and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, motherfucker, if you can't listen to the music knowing he's a piece of shit, then, you know, that means you're too attached to the person, not the music. You're too attached to the image, not the music. And CJ says, Christians be like, I knew Marilyn Manson was evil. Yeah, tell that to the next priest they rape. You know what I mean? Next priest that rapes a kid.
You know, I think with the whole separating the art from the artist thing, I don't know, because there's some people who I definitely think are pieces of shit who I still love their art. Mm-hmm. And then there's others where just my image of them interferes with my ability to enjoy their art so much.
It depends. Does it shine through into the art? If it does, then yeah, I mean, obviously.
Yeah, sometimes. I don't know. I just find that interesting. I kind of wish I could just separate and appreciate the art for itself, but like I kind of get it because I'm in that boat sometimes.
I mean, if I don't like the artist, I'll just make sure I go to Pirates Bay more for them than I would if I would, I won't go to Amazon so much.
Yeah.
That's usually the big difference that happens for me. But I mean, I'm not saying it never happens like that. I mean, it's just I'm not going to do it over something that's not really important to me. And when I say not important to me, I don't mean like, oh, I don't care about rape or something. Of course I do. What I'm saying is that if it's not like the guy like did something to me, like that, like is part of something that really hurts my life, I'm probably not going to give him grief. So, for example, I really don't agree with the politics of, we'll say, Arnold Schwarzenegger. But Arnold Schwarzenegger is probably my all-time favorite movie star. Like, not my favorite actor per se, but he's my favorite movie star. I've never seen him. There's only one movie that he made that I didn't like, and that was Last Action Hero. Everything else he's done, I think he's just fun. I love watching his movies. But do I like his politics? Absolutely not. I think he's a New World Order scum, and I know it. Same thing with Robert De Niro. I can't stand his politics, but you know what? He's a fucking great actor, so I'll watch his movies. So that's the thing, is it's like, am I going to spend my time making myself miserable for a cause when that just doesn't serve me? To put it another way, a mosquito that refuses to bite a person because he doesn't like, how they dress, doesn't score a victory. You know what I mean? I am basically a mosquito on the ass of the powers that be. I don't matter. There's nothing that I can do short of doing the kinds of work that I do and slowly just spreading my tendrils into the brains of a dozen people at a time and making them like what I have to say and maybe feel a little bit more vindicated. There's not much I can actively do, right? There's not much I can actively change. So you know what that mosquito is going to do? He's going to bite the bitch that he doesn't like, and he's going to she's going to bite the bitch that she don't like, and she's going to lay all of her eggs in the puddle right outside the bitch's house, and all those little babies are going to come out and bite the bitch, and they're just going to keep the cycle going. And that's all I can do. So I'm like the mosquito on the ass of a much bigger enemy. And all I can do is just perpetuate as much of that ass biting as I can. We got into ass. How did I do it, Fleshy? I managed to steer us into ass again.
Eddie, we can feel your influence.
Eddie, you said you weren't going to watch tonight, Eddie. I saw you. By the way, again, happy birthday, dude. How many Aries are in the house tonight besides me and Eddie? I know there's a few on the server. I forget who else it was. I'm really bad with names and birthdays. Who else was there? There was at least another one. How many Aries people? Excuse me. That's gonna be a bad soundbite. How many Aries people are gonna fucking chime in and say that they're in Aries tonight?
I'll also accept them and not me because I don't fucking pay attention to the stars.
I'll also accept Pisces. Enlightened One says, D.H. Thorne, I'd appreciate some advice on how to let go of assessing the information that oneself receives in communication with archetypes and their mass. Apologies for the No, you're fine with subject change. Don't worry about that. This is an open stream tonight. We might even do some calls for once. So I think what you're trying to say is how do you get the gnosis and not like spend a lot of time picking it apart, I think is what you're trying to say. Oh, thank you, Hellspine. Thank you. Hellspine says, shout out to D.H. Thorne and Flesh Priest for making this weekly live stream such a nice meeting for all of us practitioners. Love these chats. I appreciate you too, man.
Appreciate you, dude.
I mean, originally I wanted it to be like a really formal kind of show where it's like we have like interviews and all this stuff. I'm like,
and then
man.
I came on.
And then you came on and just completely slapped, like we played slap and tickle over it and it's completely different now. Like we're a partner team now. Like I don't mind doing the streams without you, and sometimes it's nice because I can just focus on the audience, but no, I mean, without you, this show wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't be able to do this every Thursday if you weren't here. I'd get sick of it. But going back to Enlightened's question, Enlightened, if you don't mind just maybe clarifying that question, like are you saying you don't want to like dwell on the specifics? So like, for example, a spirit tells you to watch out for a man in blue shoes, and you never meet a man in blue shoes? Like, is that what you're saying? Like, you like trying to get around the specifics, or let me hear what you're really trying to find out, because I just want to be sure before I try to answer that.
And while we're waiting on you to respond with that, Max Avery asks, how do we receive gnosis from Robert De Niro? I tell you how. Thorne, sit down, I got this one. Go into your local Italian joint and get the biggest pastrami sandwich they possibly have. Ask them to smother the bottom of it in tuna and put way too much grease in the bitch.
Oh fuck! You know where we live. He knows where Long Island-y, Italian-y type of people live. Oh my god, he knows. Don't tell him anymore. Don't let him know anymore. No, for real, that does sound like a good sandwich. I'm not gonna lie. Like if you see my so you want to know what tastes great, get yourself some nice Italian bread, get some olive oil, some Romano cheese, maybe a little dash of some basil or some shit, put in that olive oil, and dip that garlic bread right in. Not even garlic, excuse me. Dip that regular Italian bread right in there and take a bite of both. And nice oily, greasy bread, man. That's the best shit.
You had me at basil.
Basil. I like basil.
You talking to me? Jay
Sauber with the beauty. Go ahead.
Thank you, dude.
Thank you, Jay Sauber. I can always count on you, brother. Thank you. You guys got to start asking questions with this money. I like when I hear a question. Like, the whole point of the super chats, like, remember how we originally had it was like, I want your question in all caps or addressed to one of the mod staff, or a super chat will go to the front of the line. And we don't really even do that anymore. We're just like, hey guys, what's up? I think if we ever get big enough where we've got like 200 or 300 people in the audience, we'll have to do that. But
honestly, most of the time I don't see a whole hell of a lot of questions compared to when I first came on. Like, when I first came on, I had a whole list going and everything, where it's like, I'm gonna try to pick as many as I can from this. Max Avery gives a super chat for the De Niro guidance. Appreciate you, dude.
Actually, I preferred the Nero, like the money guidance. That's what I prefer. Okay, Eddie asks, where is the magic stored? Eddie, do you have a booty fetish? And if by fetish I mean obsession, like, is it? Do you need me to send you some butt for men? Is that what you need? Like a nice spray bottle filled with butt for men? Some eau de derrière. Magic happens to be stored in the cavity right between the cheeks of the gluteus maximus muscles.
Right behind the taint.
Right.
The but yeah, if people have questions, by all means ask. We don't actually get a whole lot of them, which I'll actually take as a good thing, because I guess it means people are just coming here to hang out because maybe they enjoy something here. And also I think people might just be seeking their own answers, which I encourage.
I think so. Yeah. And honestly, I think they just want communion and friendship. I think that's a lot of it. And like, I think when I was trying to make this a professional show, I was missing the beat. I think the real point here is to just come out in front and act like who we really are, because this is kind of how we always are. It's just I'm usually less like chatty, like I'm usually more reserved and just like but because I'm on a live show, I'm like blah 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 blah. I get OCD and ADD and I just can't slow down. It's like you let the dam loose, right?
Yep.
So there's a question for you in a second, CJ, but I do want to still want to, looks like Enlightened One responded.
Enlightened One, okay, good, you saw.
So he says, I'll find that when I'm in the moment of communication, I'll interrupt the flow of communicating by thinking about it, and I'll stop instantly. Okay. Let me zoom in a little bit so I don't have to like lean in to read this shit. There we go. Okay. The only problem with that is now they flow off my screen like instantly. That's a little too big. Let's try 150%. We'll try that. Okay. So what you're asking about is, oh, good night, Camilla. I love you, sweetie. Thank you so much for my necklace. It's so beautiful. Mwah, mwah. It's a beautiful dragon snake eating its tail with a freaking fucking infinity symbol. For those who don't know, infinity symbol is one of my favorite magical symbols. It's my wedding band tattoo. There we go. It's my wedding band tattoo. So the infinity symbol is absolutely one of my favorites. It's also the reason why I like the Enso with Zen, because it's kind of a similar idea. Love the infinity symbol. Love Mobius strips. Love everything that has to do with infinity and union. It's like my favorite symbolism. The Baphomet, the yin yang, the Mobius, the all of this stuff. Tatum with a good question. I'll have to get into that in a minute. Tatum, stick around. We got 2 other questions to get to first. So, enlightened one. Let me slow my own roll down and let me address your question. One of the reasons that I am so big on learning to let go of active thinking is that you can potentially, in ritual, have an easier time doing exactly what you're talking about. Now, some people who have criticized my talkativeness had said something to the effect of, someone who can silence their thoughts, you sure are a talkative asshole. And the point is not that you silence your thoughts. That's not actually what you're doing. You don't silence yourself. That's a misunderstanding of empty mind. When you go into empty mind, what you're actually doing is you are not paying attention to those thoughts. In other words, those thoughts are still happening in the corners of your mind, but you're not listening to them. You're not focused on them. You're not dwelling on them. You literally have no conscious thought that is occupying your brain. You are fully immersed in the moment. And that is a very healthy place to be. I can tell you that when I'm having an anxiety attack, right, or I'm having depression, I'm able to tell you that that's what's going on because I have a certain amount of dissolution between my own personal perspective and my gnosis of my true state of knowing and what I am. So when I'm experiencing depression or anxiety, my body is reacting, my words are reacting, but in the background, you can always tell because I diffuse very quickly. Like no matter how mad I get, it takes me just a few seconds to be over it. I don't hold it very much. And that's why it bothers me so much when I do, because my natural state is to be not attached to these emotional extremes. I'm actually generally quite just always in the middle, right? So when I'm doing ritual, and I'm working with the spirit, I'm not going to say that I don't ever stop and like dwell on a bit of information that they give me. But I will say that, I don't usually have that problem. And I don't, since I don't have that problem, it's harder for me to give you a response because it's not a problem I've ever solved. So I will say that maybe the reason I don't have that problem as much is one, because of that no mind thing that I talk about. And 2, because when I do commune with the spirit, the information doesn't come in a slow drip where it's like I've got to pay attention to every word. We're not having a conversation, right? I am not like watching television where I have to pay attention. It is I ask a question and I'm just suddenly inspired with an answer. I just know. And it's not like I suddenly have thoughts that I have to address to answer it. It is, King Paimon, what do I have to do? I mean, it seems like my fans just aren't interested in the higher points of spirituality. All they want to know is about spirits. And within a split second, like something will happen, a thing will go off under the stove to make me know to pay attention to the next thought. Like I told you guys that story about my dog thing turning on in the middle of the night when I had that thought. And the thought that was in my head at that moment was, well, why not just frame everything as if it's coming from a spirit to get people's attention more? Oh, that's actually a pretty good idea, but I don't want to be too insincere, so I'm not doing that much. But, still, I was like, that's a pretty good idea. And I just was suddenly inspired by an answer, right? And then I realized that was a strong answer because of the response I got in my environment. So when I'm getting gnosis from a spirit, most of the time it takes the form of a download. And a download for me is that quick hit of inspired knowledge. And it's actually, when it happens like that, I trust it a lot more because, for one thing, it's not some kind of weird vision where I'm like seeing things that aren't real. It is rather and I have to piece together the symbolism. Rather, I know it's sort of like it's bubbling up from my own self-consciousness. And I can sort of trust its source enough to go, okay, I trust it to be accurate, but it may be wrong, and I don't worry about it. And I just apply it, and just like I would any idea you've ever had, right? I don't go, oh, is this really the spirit telling me? I just go, whether it is or it isn't, it's now my knowledge, and I'm going to live with it. And it's a subtle thing, and I think most of us live our life this way. How many of you guys have had a problem where you didn't have an answer and then just suddenly you just inspired with an answer. Well, now imagine that, but apply it to a much bigger thing. Imagine that, but like you're asking a question about the meaning of the universe, and you get an entire flow of that where you just suddenly get like this whole row of an answer. And it's not like you're hearing it, so you can't miss it. It's already in you, and now you're like recording it, right? There is a difference. And that's why I do have a hard time relating to people who don't have that experience in magic, because if for me it would actually be inferior to my mind. I'm not saying it's inferior objectively, but it would be inferior to my experience for me to go into an astral place and have to take dictation and take notes and be told something. I much prefer to ask the question and then just like I now know. I much prefer that. Is it as cool? No. Do I get as cool a story out of it? Not really. Like, I can't be like, I can't say like I'm being whisked into La La Land and being given gnosis. All I can do is say I asked the spirit and now suddenly I know the answer. And that's not as cool, but I think it's more accurate. I think it's better, personally. So I hope that helps.
To put a little bit of a different spin on that too, what I would say about it is that because I've had that issue a little bit occasionally where, something will be said and it's like, oh, I really want to get to the bottom of that Scooby-Doo mystery right now. But to me, it's kind of like pulling out a phone in the middle of conversation, like focus on the conversation, you can Google shit later. I tried to just be aware of that thought and really quickly just identify that thought, mentally bookmark it away. Like, I'm going to address you later, and I'm going to Google to my heart's intent, think about that a lot later, but right now I am talking to my friend.
That's exactly it. And this is why I recommend either videotaping or audio recording or having a notepad and just scribble shit down, Most of the old ways, this is actually maybe the best advice I could give you. Not everybody is as good a medium as everybody else, okay? And I say everybody else because it seems like no matter where you shake a stick, everybody's a medium. Everybody has the capacity to be a medium. I don't think that there's a person that lives that can't be a medium. If they can imagine something, they can be a medium. It's that simple. But to be a good medium is a little less common. I'm not sure it's an advantage or a disadvantage, honestly. To be a good medium, you have to ask your question, you have to ask the question, does that mean I'm susceptible to the influence of other beings, right? But to be a good medium it's an art, it's a skill, it's a talent, it's something you're born with, it's something that you develop. But being a good medium is something that in the old days, maybe not the ancient old days, but certainly like the Roaring 20s and the Victorian era of magic, the norm was to have an operator and a medium. So you'd have someone like, when you picture a seance, right? Like an old timey-wimey seance, everybody's sitting around a crystal ball holding hands and shit. You had a medium who was very often conducting it, but you might also have an operator who would guide the medium through it. Now, you will notice, like if you look up another guy I like a lot, what's his name? Oh, fuck. I can't think of his name. It starts with an R.
Rob Zombie.
No, not a big fan of his.
I
think I sent you.
Hanging with everybody tonight.
I think I sent you a video of him. He's a. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. Poke Runyon. Poke Runyon has an excellent hour or so long video about using demons in the Goetia and shit like that. And I'm not saying I would do everything he says, but he's a brilliant guy. He knows what's up. He knows what he's dealing with. And so he shows that when he does rituals, he'll have a medium present and he will conduct the ritual. Okay. So if you're a solo Rolo like I am, it's a lot harder because you've got to be the one getting the gnosis and somehow keep track of it, right? Especially if you're deep in the throes of channeling where it's not a download but a blah blah, right? When it's a blah blah, I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. There's a lot of rituals that I've done where pages of potential information are gone because I did not record it all. And I just assumed that information was just for me then, and it was important in that moment, and I don't need it now. But if you're ever in the state where you need to record everything, make sure the spirits don't mind. I mean, I've never had a problem with it. Some people think it's rude to just record a spirit. If you feel like it's rude, then, you know, maybe ask first. But take a video recording of the ritual, you know, take an audio recording of it if you're unsure. And the cool thing about that is, unless you utterly hate yourself, if you set up a beautiful ritual like I do, like I like the way my rituals look. If I was a stranger, I'd be like, oh, I like this guy's rituals. I like the way they look. I like watching my rituals, especially when I'm in the middle of the ritual and something freaky happens, like something falls in the cabinet or something. I want to catch that on video. Like to catch it on video, I want to hear that again. That was freaky. So recording these things is actually potentially a really good idea, and it would help you. Or get yourself a friend, someone who's into magic and spirituality, and have them do the rituals. Growing up, my best magic friend was Andreas, and I've written about him, and I'm trying to think about whether I want to write him into my new book or not. But, you know, I call him Andreas the Mage, and he was a really good friend of mine, and we had a falling out, and he freaking hexed me bad, and it worked, you know, and I had to break that when I came back into magic. But he was my operator. So I was the medium, and he would do hypnosis, he'd do ritual around me, new age cleansings, all kinds of cool shit. And he would do all this stuff to put me in the zone, till the point it got where I didn't need him to help at all. I would just be walking down the street, get an eye full of the full moon, bang, suddenly I was somebody else. It was like having multiple personalities. And he would just be like, oh, okay, and he'd take out his little book or whatever he had, or he'd try to remember it, and we would talk about it later after it was over. And I remember, like, one of the things that comes to mind was the spirit that I was always working with, you know, Ranzael at the time, you know, claiming to be the other half of my soul, said that someday we'd be fully integrated, we'd be one being, and there would be no distinction between the two of us. And when that day comes, like, I would be much better. Well, here I am as a person who is kind of integrated with that, and I don't feel like I need an operator anymore to do this. I feel like I can mostly do it by myself. Does that mean it wouldn't hurt to have a good operator? No, I don't think it would hurt. If there was somebody who was really, really good at doing rituals that I could trust, I would let somebody be my operator for sure. I would go for that again. I would see what it was like. It would be nice to maybe just channel the spirit and let it. I'll say one thing, doing the ritual myself, I don't get possessed as much. I'm not even going to say that I deny it, but I don't really experience it as hard. And when I do, it's much more subtle. I know they're in me. I know that they're part of my mind. I know that I'm dealing with them, but I don't act like them as strongly. Unless I'm doing it in a mirror. If I'm standing in front of a mirror and just kind of eyeballing myself. By the way, Ghost, I'm not talking about you, buddy. Don't worry, Ghost. I could tell you were joking the way you. Don't make me pop that balloon. I actually thought that was funny because I wanted to comment. What do you mean balloon? What's a balloon? You mean baloney? No, Ghost. Don't worry about it. So when doing that, you know, now I don't get that deep possession that I used to get, and it's more of just a vibe that I feel. And if I'm standing in front of a mirror, I will talk to myself in the voice of the spirit. And I don't talk about that much because that's more my personal time. And I think a lot of people would be unimpressed by the fact that I'm just in my bathroom getting ready to take a shower and my hair's down and I'm all grungy looking and I'm just like having a talk with myself. And the voice that's talking to me might be, obviously it's one that I can do, but it would be definitely not my mannerisms. We'll put it that way. It's definitely a different person talking. So I will catch, and the nice thing is when I'm looking in the mirror, I remember it better because I see myself talking. So it kind of sticks, like somebody's telling me.
You get that audio and visual.
Yeah, so it sticks a little better. But I don't talk about it much because, you know what, frankly, it doesn't sell a lot of videos and books to tell people all I do is basically do, you know, Bloody Mary in the mirror and I get a response, right? It's a valid way to do it. Maybe I will do a video about it soon because I think it does need to be said. But I don't emphasize it because it's not as cool. Like, this is what's cool. People see this and go, do you use that for your altar? Is that how? Yeah, I do. Yes, I absolutely do. And it works. It's really great. But honestly, most of the time, if I'm walking down the street and the wind blows a certain way, I might hear a voice in it and I just keep it to myself. I just deal with it. So, and anybody can do that. It's not a gift. It's a skill. You do have to like practice it a little bit at first. But once you break through and you realize how easy it is, you don't practice it anymore. You just do it. It's just done. It's like riding a bike. You don't have to practice. All right, Fleshy, I need a break for my voice. I'm going to let you answer the question from CJ Anger.
Yeah, so real quick, we got a super chat from Jinjini. Didn't ask any question, but did leave us a nice tip. Appreciate you. And if you got a question, shoot it in the chat. We'll answer it.
Yeah,
so
sure.
yeah, going back up, CJ asked, Flush, how'd you get yourself into chaos magic? Well, part of it was...
It was a very chaotic thing, wasn't it? No, I'm just kidding. I'm being a dick.
Part of it was just hanging around this motherfucker. Just like, oh, so I'm getting into magic again. Okay, yeah, tell me about the magic, Thorne. Okay.
Yeah, you definitely, like, I held it at arm's length from you a little bit because I'm like, this guy doesn't know this part about me at all. And I don't know how much I want to share. Yeah, because I never ever really, like, you might have thought like, okay, this guy goes by Warlock on Steam, but okay, well, it's just a cool word, right? It probably never occurred to you like that was my life for a while.
Yeah, it was kind of like having a friend who...
It's like I came out of the closet.
It's kind of like having a friend who, like, smokes a bunch of weed or something. It's like, okay, like, this guy's cool. And then just suddenly he tries to get you into the Grateful Dead, like, out of nowhere. It's like, no, I don't really care. And now suddenly I'm a deadhead. Not actually, but fuck it, I'll run with that analogy.
I do find it amusing because, and not to jump in too much, but I do find it amusing because you did, like, I really thought you would never, I know you like playing mages and Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. I know you like those characters. It never occurred to me that you would be open to any of this. Like, it was, usually I'm a pretty good judge, and I really thought, like, I don't want this to ruin our friendship or something. So I'm like, this is what I do now.
There was a lot of eye rolling on my side, like, when the camera wasn't on, when it was just voice chat, like, oh, okay, yeah, okay.
I mean, at least you're being honest. Now I got to curse you for it, but at least you're being honest. So keep going.
But no, so he was doing it. It was a little bit more normalized and everything, and just kind of aside from it, because I've always been into this kind of shit. Just like, I find it interesting, and back in high school, I tried fucking around with some old tomes and whatnot under the full moonlight, and none of that shit ever really worked. It was all just fucking... But of course I was using those old books who say, you must have a dagger made from silver by the first forge of, and then take the feather from the first eagle of the north wind, like that kind of bullshit. So I hate that shit, but that was like, oh, this has to be right. This has to be what I do. And then I found out about chaos magic. It's like, oh, this is fucking punk rock. I like this. I just thought, you know what? This is complete horseshit. But it sounds like fun, and that sounds like something that is actually achievable. Let's go out and let's just have fun with it, and let's just see if it works. Like, oh shit, okay, fun. Yeah, and
that's the right attitude to have about it. Now that's why, like, I think, whenever if I was ever going to be like a master with an apprentice, my first question wouldn't be where is magic stored, although it might be my second or third question. My first question would literally be, if I were to tell you and prove to you tomorrow that none of this does anything, none of this matters, that magic is pretty much entirely bullshit, would you still do it? If they say no, I would say thank you very much for your attention. Try this other guy. You're not the guy for me. If they say yes, then I'm going to open the door, because the fact is, and it's something I'm writing about in my current book, the fact is, the things that we think of as magic are not magic. The things we think of as magic, the potions and the bibbidi-bobbities and the booze and the sigils and the spirits and all that, that's not magic. The magic is the thing that causes the experience of those things. That's the magic. The magic, by the time you do a ritual, the magic has already happened an infinite number of years ago, right? It is so far in the past, because the past does not exist, in other words. It is a thing that's already done. And so when you're doing the ritual, all you are doing is leaning into the fact that your higher self knows an outcome is coming, and you are doing something around it to give it a magical meaning. Someone who is a real hard materialist will say, then what's the point of doing magic? What's the point of jerking off? There's no point in anything. You do things because you enjoy them. By wrapping it in the trappings of magic, there is an advantage, though. I'm always talking about him, and suddenly his name slipped my mind. Oh my God, the guy with the archetypes, Jung. Thank you, Carl Jung, with synchronicity. Okay, the concept of synchronicity is at the core of what we're doing. When you do a magic ritual, the manifestation is a synchronicity of what you did the ritual for. It is not your magic. This is why people who are into thaumaturgy get really mad at me, because they want miracles that they can command, like snap their fingers and shit happens. And I'm telling you that's not how this works. Because the person who's snapping their fingers isn't fucking real enough to cause anything. You're not doing anything. You're also the wave of magic moving. You're the vessel for everything. You're just an excuse to pay attention to this spot. You're not causing anything here. So this idea that your magic rituals are what causes things, like that's why I don't advertise doing magical services that much, because I don't have the mentality where I think if I do this ritual, you're going to get what you want. I don't have that mentality. There's a reason I don't do that for magic. And people say, I know magic's real because I didn't say it's not real. You are mistaking the part that is real for the thing you do. Magic is 100,000 billion zillion trillion % real. It is just not this. That's not it. The form magic takes that you think it is, that's why it doesn't matter. You can be a Christian who just prays all the time. You can be a flesh priest with sigils, and I do all that too. You can be a demonologer. You can be a non-dualist who does yoga all day. All of this will work because it's not actually doing anything. And it will all equally fail. And so the skeptics will be like, haha, I told you, none of it's real. You can't do a ritual and make anything happen. Haha. They're not wrong. They're right. I don't disagree with that. What I'm telling you is, if I do a ritual, it's because a part of me knows I'm going to get what I'm doing the ritual for as a result. It's not faith. It is a kind of premonition. It is a kind of intuition. This is why I don't do magic by a formula. I do magic by intuition. I go out into the wilderness and I'll bring my staff with me and I'll have the intention of doing a ritual or communing with the spirit. And as I walk, I'll pick up things that might be useful. Oh, that pine cone. I wonder what spirit's trying to get me to use a pine cone. Oh, that rock's cool. This spot in the woods looks perfect. Ah, look, a bird feather. And I'll just build my ritual out of what I'm finding as I go. And I just let my intuition run wild. And then I ask for things. And I find that my magic works better when I don't have a lot of needs in mind. When I go into magic with whatever the fuck I get, then it works better. So again,
that's always.
And Anton says it well. Anton says it well. Existence itself is magic, and that's true. Look up the word Maya, the Sanskrit word Maya, and look up all the things it means. One of the things it means is magic. So there you go. Your very existence is a manifestation of magic. You're doing a ritual is a manifestation of magic. In other words, the part of you that is actually the cause of all of these things you think that you're influencing is your higher true self. It is the dreamer. It is the state of knowing that you are. That is what's doing all of this. Not D.H. Thorne. So by the time I get the idea of I am going to do a ritual, by the time that thought occurs to me, the thing that I would call magic has already happened, and I am actually following the pattern that will get me to the thing that I think I want. The thing I think I want is an influence of my higher self saying, let's make D.H. Thorne, let's find the spot in the universe where D.H. Thorne wants a car, and let's get magic to give it to him, right? Because I'm doing it that way. Now, so what is the point? What is the point? David Morgan, always a non-dual genius, he knows what he's talking about. He says, alignment with your true will, whether accidental or deliberate, is what magic is. Bang! It's yoga. It's a form of yoga. This magic is Western yoga without postures and mudras and shit. Same idea. Same basic idea. So when you're doing this, by the time you've done the ritual, the thing that we think of as magic it's already happened. And the purpose of doing ritualized magic this way is multifold. The biggest ones that come to mind off the top of my head are it's a beautiful form of art, it's a beautiful form of expression, which is what art is. And third, it creates a powerful reminder when the thing manifests that you did the ritual for, you go, holy shit, the universe does listen. I am that universe. That's what it's for. That's why we do it. Do you have to do it? No. There's so many times I'll just sit here and be like, wouldn't it be cool if I did this someday? Yeah, that would be cool. Poof, there it happened. It just happened, and I didn't even really make any, it just happened. I guess, did I do that, or did I know it was coming? Was it a premonition? And one of the reasons why I tell you guys that if you're doing magic right, you can't tell whether you caused the manifestation or predicted it. That's when you know you're doing magic completely right. When you don't know whether you caused it or predicted it. What do I mean by predicted it? In other words, did you do the ritual because you knew you were going to get it already and that's why you did the ritual? Or did you do the ritual and that caused it? If you can't tell the difference, if they seem to be the same, you just took like 3 baseball bats and hit 40 home runs with one swing. Like you just destroyed it. Like you just bang, you nailed it. Because when you do it that way, holy shit, does it become real. It's scary real. It's scary real. Okay, so I'm sorry, Fleshy, because I do realize I might have interrupted you. Did you want to say more? Because I really want to hear more about.
Yeah, actually, I was gonna say I've actually already got a caller lined up. I want to get through these questions.
Tell Eddie to wait.
It's not Eddie.
Okay.
Always the first caller, though. To put an end cap on the how did I get into chaos magic, that was pretty much it. I approached it as, I'm just going to have fun with this, and whether it works or not, fucking whatever, I'm just going to have fun. And now I'm here, just, oh shit, okay.
So let me ask you then, so you're almost a year into this now, right? You're approaching close to a year, like 6-8 months now, right? I think, of really getting into it again?
Something like that, yeah.
So what have you decided all this time? Have you decided that it's as real as you thought? Have you decided that it's still something worth doing, or is it just fun to talk about? What do you feel about it now?
It is, I fucking was chasing a thought down there and I completely lost. Say that again?
Lost it down the thorn hole. You lost it down the thorn hole.
Yeah, I did that thing that I was recommending you don't do earlier, where I just pursued the thought really quick and I forgot to pay attention to the conversation at hand.
So it's been almost a year since you got into this again, close to it. It's probably like 8, 9, 10 months by now, I'm pretty sure.
Something like that. And I've had periods in there where I just haven't touched anything. Would you say that you are more convinced that there's something to it or not? Like, would you say that your eye rolling when we first talked about it was more accurate? Or do you now believe that there is something to this that you're trying to enjoy? Or is it just something fun to talk about, like talking about conspiracy theories, but you don't necessarily buy them? I absolutely believe there's something more to it. I always try to keep it playful, though. I try not to take it so seriously. Probably not as seriously as you do. But I don't know, somewhere in between in a lot of different ways. But I do obviously take this very seriously. And
so for you, it's more than just an ornament. Okay, yeah, okay. So it's more than just an ornament. It's closer to it. Let me ask you this: how often do you actually put it into practice now?
Well, that's the thing, is I don't like, because I reached the point on some level where the rituals and all that bullshit, that's just like masturbating. That's just something that's fun to do. I don't need to do that. Fucking magic is magic is in the butt. You can sit on it. So on some level, it's one of those things where I don't really feel like I need to do it. It just is. but sometimes it's just fun to do. Sometimes it's just for me.
Now, you know, although I probably haven't told you, but you're intuitive enough to probably know, I don't do rituals all the fucking time. If people were to
Oh,
come
yeah.
and hang out with me, they'd probably think that every day I'm worshiping Satan or some shit. Not at all, dude. That is, when people do that, I go, oh, you were so cool.
The synchronicity of that. I'm listening to music in the background, and like, just a beat. You said every day that was the line of the song. Just a beat before that.
See you later, Housebine.
Have a good one, dude.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't want anybody to be like, oh, Thorne's not legit because he doesn't do it every day. I don't do magic every day. I don't do it once a week. When I say I don't do magic, I should say I never do magic, because that's kind of what I'm saying, right? I'm kind of saying that none of us do magic. Magic's the thing that does us. But I don't intentionally do ritual work very often. I feel like less is more. And it helps keep it sacred when you only put a lot of energy into a real ritual once in a while. You know, I think doing a hardcore ritual once a month is more than enough. If you're having a lot of needs, do it every week. When you're starting out, you're really inspired, you do it every day even. But once you settle into it being your life, magic is a thing you do every once in a while when you really need that spiritual X-lax to just drain you of all the constipated energies. Then you do the rituals, and then otherwise you don't do it. And there is a little sadness there, though, because I've reached that point of not complacency, but where magic is becoming a little mundane. So to me, doing a ritual is almost a chore. Like, you mean I gotta get the candles out, and I gotta sit around, and I gotta do this, and I gotta do that. Why don't I just sit here and meditate and talk to the spirit that way? Fucking damn it. You know, like, I don't feel like I need to do all this excess shit. So I just saw like the concurrent viewers go from like almost 60 down to like less than 40. Like for real. Like, it's just like, what happened? Did I fart on live air or something? What happened? If anything, that would bring you guys in. So let's hit on Tatum, because Tatum had asked a question. I lost it because I just refreshed my screen.
I got it.
Okay.
So yeah, Tatum asked the question, DH, if you could perform a ritual at an ancient site in the world, where would it be? Happy birthday, by the way.
Oh,
and she said,
Tatum.
She actually said just after that she would love to see Petra before it crumbles away.
Okay, if I could do it in any, and it's got to be a sacred site. It couldn't just be someplace I like.
I'd say up for interpretation on that one. While you're thinking of that, I saw a comment that I fucking loved. Jay Sauber asked, Flesh Priest, can you evoke spirits in your vape juice? Maybe you could sell empowered vape flavors. Jen Vatsa, you fucking jump on that. If you don't, I'll find a way to.
Yeah, we do need to do some Flesh Priest vape juice where it's like it's like the remnant after you blow it out, just in a jar, and you can smell it. You have Thorne's Thorne. Anyway, I'm kidding. David Morgan with the Genius, he says, in other words, DH Thorne, when you are no longer need to prove to yourself that magic is a thing, the context being you do it until you don't need to prove it anymore. I agree. So Tatum, this is not a sacred place, but there is a place I want to do a ritual real fucking bad. And I want an audience. I want not a big audience. I mean, I want like 2 or 3 of the most powerful sorcerers to come with me. I want to have a working experience with them already, so I know what to expect from them. I want to go to the King's Park Asylum. Look it up. It's the coolest fucking place in the world. I want to go to the King's Park Asylum, and I want to go into the morgue. And I want to do the blackest ritual that I could think of to do there. I want to open a gate right to either the Shadow People, or to the infernal realms itself, or to the outer gods of fucking Lovecraft. And I want to open it right there. And I just want to make that like, come on in, guys. Like, here it comes. Like, I want to open like the Hell Gate, the Hell Mouth in that place. I want to do a ritual that if I go on TV doing it, people will probably arrest me. Like, things that I probably can't even say. I want to do like the most blasphemous ritual beyond. I mean, there's things I wouldn't do, obviously, but I want to do like the most rationally blasphemous thing I can do. and open in that place. I want to draw upon all the suffering that happened there to charge that ritual. I want to use that asylum like the giant misery battery that it was, and I want to just suck it all into that circle and see what kind of crazy shit I can get to fucking manifest. But I wouldn't want to do it alone. Although doing it alone would actually be maybe the most powerful way to do it, because I would be in there in my utmost, not weakness, but vulnerability. That would be the most vulnerable way to do it. So why didn't I say like Stonehenge or something? Probably because everyone would say something like that. Probably because everybody would, it's already polluted with everybody else's desires and intentions to do magic there. It's already like a, so many people psychically do rituals through places like that already that it's probably kind of like boring now. For me, I like to go out in the woods and find the one tree in the middle of a field that shouldn't be there, and I like to go sit under that and talk to the spirits that might be in it. I like to find the one stretch of beach that just feels right and just try to talk to the spirits of the water there. I want to, if I go to a sacred space, it's got to be a space people don't go to. Like, to me, going to the Great Pyramid of Giza, that place is so full of just random people that have just polluted it with their presence. Yeah, it's got a lot of energy in it because everybody thinks about it, but it's also being tapped by 1 billion people already. Not my thing. Maybe the way I should say it, maybe I should say it like this. When it comes to magic, I'm almost a hipster. Like those annoying hipsters from like the last 10 years or so, the ones who are like, oh, it's too popular, I'm not doing that. I'm like that when it comes to magic. It's like, oh, if everybody's fucking into it, I'm then into it. When everybody's talking about Azazel, I'm like, can we talk about somebody else? Like, what? Stop asking about Azazel, goddamn. I hate following those trends, right? And a lot of people look at me and be like, oh, Thorne, you're always trying to set the goal. No, I'm not. I just don't like copying everybody, so that's why I do things different. Go ahead.
I'm going to throw my hat in the ring here and say if I could perform a ritual at an ancient site, I want to pick the loneliest asteroid on one of the rings of Saturn.
Yeah. Yeah, or like something way out past Pluto. I want to find the theoretical either planet or black hole that's past Pluto, where you don't even see the sun as the sun. It's just a bright star, and I want to go there, and I want to be like,
you want to find the ancient temple that's caught in the gravity well.
I want to find the event horizon.
Oh yeah, with the guy from Jurassic Park with the bleeding eyes. Yeah.
I want to find that ship, and I want to be like, honey, I love you. I'm probably not coming back.
We have such sights to show you.
And the next time you'll see me, I'll be missing eyeballs or something. It'll be that crazy. I'm on the verge of that.
On the urban exploration note, Max Avery says that he can get you access to the Arkansas Tuberculosis Sanatorium.
Ooh. Well, see, I love you, Max. That's a great offer, but here's the problem. If you get me access, it's not cool anymore. Why I want to use the morgue of Kings Park, and look the place up. You'll see why I'm not easily impressed by other offers. Look up Kings Park Asylum. Everybody, drop what you're doing right now and Google Kings Park Asylum, and tell me that you wouldn't love to just see that place, let alone do magic there. It is like the most gothic place that I can picture in my mind. And it's huge, and it's got a morgue in the basement. So part of what would make it fun is you're not supposed to go in there, like, period. And if someone said, oh yeah, go ahead, use it, I'd be like, I mean, that's cool, but to me, the part of the energy is I'm not supposed to, right? That's part of the energy. Let me see here. I'm looking to see if anybody else.
Yeah.
DH, how could one travel to another planet? Ace kind of already got it. I mean, the thing about soul travel is it's basically use your imagination, but make it a little bit more than just your imagination. Like, start with imagining it and then start to viscerally feel it. And it's a long conversation to teach you how to do that. I just did a video about gazing where we touched on it a little bit. Not a video, but a classroom about it this past week. So if you guys are interested in lessons from D.H. Thorne, click on the link in the description. There's a link tree. Find the Patreon one. Go there, and one of the tiers is for an online video training class where we get together once a week and we have a class. And if you can't make the class, every one of the classes is recorded and I upload them during the week so you can watch them later. So if you're interested in taking lessons from me as a student and you don't mind spending $20 a month on it, it might be a service you'd be interested in. I'm very excited about it. I do enjoy doing it. But Tatum's there a lot, so she can tell you whether it sucks or not. But yeah, Ace pretty much, in the simplistic answer, he nailed it pretty much. Yeah, so go ahead, Fleshy. I think you were going to say something. I do know we got a guest waiting.
Oh,
so.
I was going to chip in with, I've actually got, I've been recording the questions we asked, and they delivered.
Oh, did they?
So yeah, what do you want to do? Do you want to answer a few more questions, or do you want to bring the caller in?
How's our guest? Are they chilling? Are they good? Do they want to answer your questions, or they have a question?
I don't actually know.
Yeah, let's just bring the call. Especially if they're a Skype caller, let's just bring them in through Skype.
Okay, cool.
And then if we have good questions, maybe they're interesting and they can answer the questions too.
Or actually, you know what? Let's do I just realized this energy drink floweth through me. You want me to ask a question really quick, and while I take a step away?
So long as it doesn't send me onto a fucking rant where I spend an hour talking about like how many hairs are on the balls of Nicodemus or something. Yeah. What's your favorite color or something?
There's no question that could do that then.
I have a power.
See. I don't see anything in here of like, what is your opinion on the letter Q? Might be able to answer that one within 10 minutes.
Does that look like a Q to you?
Hold on, I'm gonna bring them in. I totally forgot to let them know we were, but I know they're in the chat right now, so they probably.
Something's going on. Your picture just like got bigger and smaller. Do they have video?
I don't
or are they
know.
a first
Let's
timer?
ask them. Everybody, please make very welcome Ace the motherfucking Goblin.
Ace the motherfucker! I haven't talked to Ace in a while. This is gonna be good. Ace, can you hear us? Is he here yet?
I think he.
I do see him in the chat.
Now he's in. My bad.
Hello.
Ace, my good friend, my brother.
Goblin.
What's up, my good friends?
let me turn down my music so we can actually hear you, because you're a little quiet. What's up, man? Say hi to everybody.
Up?
Everybody, this is Ace the Goblin,
everyone?
musician extraordinaire, speed rapper, fucking awesome dude. What's up, brother?
I'm back. Nothing much, man. You know, I just been working heavy on this album that's gonna be dropping real soon.
Very fucking sweet. I love when you put stuff in your music. I mean, it's been a little while since you released anything new, so I'm excited. So are you going to release all the music at once? Or are you going to do
just like a week ago? I think he did.
Yeah, I think he did. You know, that's the problem. Like, if you don't watch things enough, YouTube doesn't send you what you want to see. Like, if you don't click on them every time, like, you don't catch them. And I haven't caught them. I think it's been like a good minute since I saw the last upload. So I hope you're sharing them on the Discord too, by the way.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I'm going to release them all at once. It's going to be, on YouTube, and I'm going to do one video on YouTube where it's the whole thing in one play out. It'll be probably an hour type thing. You know how those albums go. It'll be just the full album, and then I'll also drop it as a playlist with all the individual tracks under it. Like that.
That'd be sick, man. You know what's cool about YouTube is you can now put timestamps in the description so people can it separates your video out. So.
Yeah.
Are you going to be selling this like on a cloud or anything? Are you selling this like on iTunes or anything, or is it just going to be just for free, like the usual Ace generosity?
Yeah, this album will be the only one that is for free. Yeah, I'm just going to drop it for free.
All right, sick.
That's the thing that's
non-profit album.
All right, cool.
I still say you should put it on Bandcamp because they let you They let people pay what you want because I love
True.
getting
True.
on there and like, you're giving this away for free, but I'm still gonna tip you because I fucking dig this.
You know, I think I should do that too. Not for the money, but because I don't like Reverb Nation. Like they're just like nobody even knows I'm there. So like I think I'm gonna try a Bandcamp one too. It's a good idea.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Bandcamp is really good, and I've looked into it a couple times here and there, and I just haven't actually got started on there though. But I have had it in mind that I will be though, definitely.
Yeah, I dig them.
Did you end up using any of the tracks I sent you yet, or are they still coming in something later?
Well, yes. I actually used 2 of the tracks in the album.
Oh, sick. But I'm even more excited now. It's got me in
different ones. They're the ones for the dialogue, you know, between tracks. But the Shogun one, which is the one with the beat.
Yep.
That one is not going to be on the album. That's just going to be a release song. A single, yeah.
Okay. I'm excited about that one. You know, like when I wrote that, I wouldn't say I wrote it, but when I made that, it was basically like my tribute to Enter the Dragon. Like, excuse me, Last Dragon. Last Dragon.
Yeah. But the ones that I already used are the Mellow 70s and what was that other one? Fuck. Yeah, I can't remember the name right now, but I used another one of those. And yeah.
All right, cool, man. No, that's cool.
Yeah,
use them as interludes. Use them as however you want, man. Because like,
and I appreciate you letting me use them for the album, bro. I really, really appreciate that, man.
Like I said, if you ever hit, then you know where the money's got to go a little bit. But you know, I like supporting. I like supporting young bloods coming up, man. I have no problem with that, brother. You know, we'll revisit that. We'll revisit that if you ever hit big. Because I know even if you hit, you wouldn't be like, I don't know this dude. You'd be like, send this motherfucker, you know what? Give him a nice silver Maserati or something. Like
he deserves
I know that's
it.
What would happen.
A king size Babe Ruth bar.
Right.
Yes.
Like I just know, like you'd either show up at my door with like, you know, like come on, man, I'm taking you out to like a fancy weekend somewhere or something. I know it would happen. So
I'll be right back.
It's all good, buddy. It's all good. I trust you, man. I can feel your energy. You're a cool dude.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
You wouldn't leave me hanging. But
glad you trust
because I think you could. I think you could hit it, man. I think you got to do what I do. Like part of the reason why I have any success is because I market the shit out of myself. Like I'll go whenever I put something up, I go on Facebook and I make sure everybody knows it, and I make sure that I post cool shit so people pay attention to me. And you know, it's just fun. It's like a video game. Like I got to raise my score this week, and then I put something out. You know. So and there's no shame in it so long as you're being honest about it, man. Just don't, like I always yell at my wife, like she doesn't want to put any links up to Etsy. I'm like, whenever you put products up, put them all over the place. She's like, no, I don't want to be that person. I'm like, do it now. So yeah, brother. So no, I'm looking forward. So what is the theme of this album? Is there going to be a theme to it, or is it just going to be like, is it going to be all over the place?
Yes. No, it's very orderly and organized, and it has a story to it, and you'll catch on to the story very. It's not like one of those stories where you're like wondering. It's like very clear. It's like a movie, and so it definitely has a theme, and it's called Resurrection of the Goblin, and you know it's about you know this sorcerer coming to resurrect this ancient goblin from ancient times who was like, you know, like a Lucifer, Satan, Set, Beelzebub, you know, aspect, things like that. And he's coming to, you know, bring about the left-hand path and, you know, destroy the religiousness of the world and things like that. And then I even put a whole, you're going to laugh, but I even, on one of the dialogues, bruh, I even made a whole anime type battle where there's this crusader who comes that is working for the Christian God and comes to battle the goblin. And, you know, I made it like anime with sound effects and all that.
I might like that, man. You should get somebody to animate it for you. I'm sure we could find somebody.
I know. My girlfriend said the same thing. She was like, because when she listened to it, like, bro, you can imagine it all because I put the sound effects. And
I'm already picturing like the, like almost like in the old Wu-Tang song, the one, which is the one, fuck, oh shit. What is it? A sword fight, ting ting, is a game of chess. You know, I'm picturing something like that almost, like happening.
Yeah.
All right. I like the sound of that.
It's not like that. It's like an actual anime, bro. It's like, you know, talking, and then, you know, he's like, Let's see.
Are
if
you
you
using
can
are you using
fix and
samples from
then-
anime?
Am I using sound effects from anime?
Yeah, did you sample like anime films or anything for it, or you do your own thing?
No, I didn't sample any anime music or sound effects. There's only one anime sound effect that I use, and that was the sound effect when in Dragon Ball Z, whenever he goes for the Kamehameha, you know that sound when it comes on. I don't know how to make it with my mouth.
I wasn't a big Dragon Ball fan because I didn't like having to wait 3 episodes to
out.
see a fireball. You know what I mean? Because it's like the
I
dude would
know,
spend 3
right?
episodes charging up a fireball. I'm like, that's why I don't like Bleach either. Like Bleach, I tried to like it, and the first
bro. Those
the
are my
first couple
two-
episodes were good. Really? Oh, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
I'll hold him, Ace. You punch.
Dragon Ball,
I'm
bro,
big. I could take a hit.
That's what got me into anime, bro. Dragon Ball Z, bro.
That's
Fuck
true
yeah.
for a lot of
Even-
people. You know, it was
It is
Robotech
true.
that got me into it.
Yeah. Now Dragon Ball Super, now it's kind of fucking weird. I don't really like it as much as Z, but it's still cool. But I mean, Bleach, I love Bleach too. That's pretty fucking.
How'd you
awesome.
feel about like Samurai Champloo and God, I'm not doing good. Cowboy Bebop. Did you ever watch those two? By the same studio.
Nah, I actually haven't watched Cowboy Bebop or the other one, only because I haven't gotten to it yet. And but you know, I've heard some good things about Cowboy Bebop, but not the other one you said. What was these one you said? Say it again.
Samurai
So I was just
Champloo.
saying they're both by like the similar. I think they're the same studio and they got a lot of the
Yeah.
same actors and stuff. But I think I think you'd like them because they got like a really cool flavor to them. They're not just like tough guys or something. I mean, it's like Cowboy Bebop manages to take all the best tropes from like Blade Runner and sci-fi shit, people flying around spaceships. Does a really good. It's really quirky. It's really quirky. If you like Firefly, it's like better than that even. Now,
Okay.
but Samurai Champloo is like, it's feudal Japan. It's like actually it's Edo period Japan, and it's got like fucking rap music throughout most of the episode. Like they do it.
Oh, wow.
They do it. They really blend it perfectly. Like
That's cool.
They do a really good job. It's not like, what was it, Afro Samurai, whatever was that thing that they did that was kind of like, it kind of hit but wasn't like really big.
Yeah.
But it's got like that same kind of thing, and the characters are fucking they're Ronin without masters, so they're wandering around. They're like the last of like samurai type people that are legit. They're not just like pussies that act like it, and they're like badasses. And it gets a little slow in the middle of the show, but like the first 10 episodes, like man, just watch that show. You'll probably be like, oh, I can
Nice.
see why I said so.
I'll definitely check that out. Definitely. You know, I really love when it comes to anime. I really love like the genre. I love fighting animes and power-ups and transformation anime. That's just, I don't know.
And I
It's
hate
just
that.
something
That's the
about
part I
that.
hate, brother. I'm sorry, man. I hate that part.
Transformation, bro. You hate transformation, bro?
All right, you know what it is? You know what it is? Like Bleach pisses me off because every episode they discover 5 new powers the guy didn't have 10 seconds ago, and he's like, "Oh, I saw through the hole in his wind mark." It's like, fuck off, just fucking fight. Like fucking, you got to power up for 30 episodes.
Bro,
Fight should be over already. Have you ever fought somebody in your real life, man? If I was ever in a fight that took more than 10 seconds, take me to jail, motherfucker, because there's no reason to be in a fight that long. Fucking 3 hours. Like, okay, next scene, I'm done.
I understand you disagree, but I love that about it. I really love the long fighting, and like, if I could put it into words, I really like, you know, whenever like they try to hit them with a move and then they escape the move, and then they're like, "Oh, how did you do that?" And then they explain to them how they did it, and they continue fighting and all that. I don't know.
Like, I think once
They're
in a
playing
show is
chess,
cool, but
with
like
their
a whole.
fists.
I guess. I don't know. It doesn't do it for me because it's too slow. Like, it's like, all right, they do this every episode. I'm not saying like you're wrong, your opinion's wrong. I'm just saying like it's like
I know.
That's like somebody
It's
like, I
all
like.
good, bro. It's all good, I know.
I mean, it's not like I'm saying you like to sniff your fingers after you wipe your ass or anything, but it's just not for me. I get that it's like like a
only
good pizza or
implying.
something. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's. But you know what? People don't like everything I like either, man. So it's like I'm not judging. Like, I don't
Hell
know.
yeah, and that's the thing, you know, everybody's not gonna like what we like, and that's why I understand where you're coming from right now, you know. And
Yep.
I don't feel
Like
nothing for it.
Castlevania. Like, I
That's-
think everybody can
that's-
agree
that's
Castlevania
your
was
opinion.
badass. Actually, you know what? I'm
Definitely.
gonna tell you. I'm going to tell you, besides Castlevania, which is one of the few Netflix things I liked until the last season when they pretty much just turned it like crazy. But
I literally just finished playing that game, no lie.
I love
2.
Symphony of the
Lord of
Night is
Shadow.
the only one I love. The other ones are okay, but Symphony of the Night, I could play that every day and I wouldn't get tired of it.
Nah.
But for real, like the one I was going to say, oh shit, what was it? Oh, it was all right, here goes my brain again. What was it, Ajin? Let me see, I think it was Ajin. It was on Netflix. Let me see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't offer any help there.
Yeah, look up. I think it was either AIG. Fucking horrible with this. Give me a second, because it was on Netflix. I don't think they ever came out with a sequel. They were supposed to, but look up Ajin. So it's basically the story of this student who he like dies in a traffic accident, and it turns out that he is an immortal. So. And whenever like stuff happens, like this shadow, these black ghosts come out, and they're fucking basically like shadow people, and they fuck people up. Some good shit.
Nice. Hey, that sounds pretty good. I like the sound of that.
You know what? Let me put. I'll send it. I'll send you just the wiki right here in this chit chat. So this way I'm not advertising any more than I already am.
For sure, bro.
So, yeah, just check that out when you get a time. If you like it, it's on Netflix. You can find it anytime. So we just got a super from Shaman. Yeah. Shaman says, "Good evening, brothers and sisters. I have opened my mind to learn and practice telekinesis." Ooh, yeah, good luck. It takes time, but very useful. It does work.
You know, what? Telekinesis?
Yeah, telekinesis. I will have to pick that bone with you sometime, man, because you know my thing with telekinesis is that it's misunderstood.
I'm not gonna lie. When I first became spiritual and I was on the right-hand path, I'm not gonna lie, I practiced telekinesis hell of a lot and a couple other kinesis and things like that, and so yeah.
Yeah,
it's one of those things where like we're talking about psi wheels.
Tell me your opinion on it. Yeah, I want to hear like what do you mean by it's misunderstood. So yeah.
I mean, this is a can of worms here. This is a dangerous can of worms because some people have a hardcore belief in it. And one of the dudes just gave me a 20 spot just to talk about it. All right, so I'm not saying it's impossible.
Yeah.
What I'm going to say is, people who claim that they have it, I have a burden of proof that it's going to be like, you know, if you claim you can do it, you better define what you mean by it, and then you're going to prove it to me, or I'm going to just say no, you're lying to me, because I have never seen any evidence of what they're claiming. When I say they, I mean as the mainstream, like you can pick something up with your mind and make it move around. I don't. My problem with that is, well, I'll get to that.
My mind just commanded me to lift this.
Exactly, like that's you're doing telekinesis already in that sense. Like that's already what it is. But let's.
And I agree with you. Like I don't think you can like do that type of things yet. Like pick up shit, make it float. But like moving things like such as a side wheel or like a cam or
side wheel
like that,
is an interesting. Yes, that's the caveat I was going to make, was that I've fucked a lot with a side wheel. Okay, and
me too.
The irony is the first time I used it, I felt like a goddamn Jedi because I was sitting there all day and the thing was doing what I wanted to do. I didn't have any training. I was just like, let me see. It starts spinning. I'm like, all right, well maybe that's the heat from my hand. Let me change the position of my hands. Oh look, it's moving exactly the direction I'm telling it to. It got to the point where I'm sitting here going like this with my fingers, and it's like following my. I was like, "This is freaky," and then I could never do it again. I never got it to work again. So I'm like, "What the fuck was that?"
Well, look, check this out. I have seen a video where someone tried to debunk the side wheel, and they said, it's the heat coming from your hands, which is causing it to move. But there is a way that you can test it out without doing that. And what you do is you make the side wheel, and then you put a see-through cup or glass over the side wheel so there's nothing, no wind or anything being able to touch it. And then you put your hands around the glass and try to make it move. And I'm not gonna lie,
I think I know the very guy you're talking about. There's a guy, he wrote a book, I think it's called I Universe. Daryl Sloan, that's his name, Daryl Sloan. That might be the video you're talking about, because I think I watched that one too.
It was a long time ago, though. I don't know who the guy was, but yeah.
Was he like? Did he have like a Scottish accent a little bit?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. It
Okay.
was a long time ago. It was a couple years ago that I seen that, bro.
Definitely.
So
He
I
did this like 10
can't
years
remember.
ago that I remember seeing it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a while back that I saw it.
You know,
Yeah.
I can't talk too much shit about telekinesis either because like I haven't had any success with it, but
Yeah.
I'd be fucking lying if I said occasionally I don't just try to like look at something and try to make it
Yeah.
blow up with my mind or make it
Mhm.
go across the room. Just like, okay, I
Yes.
don't think this is gonna happen, but let's try.
I do that
There's
all the
this
time as well. Yes.
there's this one dude on YouTube. I don't remember his name now because I fucking subbed him for a minute because he was saying some wise things one day on a video, and then I saw him doing this airbending bullshit. And this guy literally sits there and he puts a camera on himself, and he's in the
Yeah.
middle of a big open field, and he'll wave his arms around, and it looks like he's moving bushes around. But what he doesn't show you is that he can see and feel the wind moving around him already. And
Yeah.
you can tell when the fucking wind's about to kick up and like make it look like you're doing it on purpose. And this motherfucker has pinwheels sitting there, like you can tell he's using those as a cue. Like he knows the wind's
Yeah.
picking. It's honestly, it's he's a charlatan, right? Now there is something to this though, and this is maybe where I'm putting it. I'm gonna say that the thing that's misunderstood is, are you doing it or are you predicting it? Are you doing it or are you going to the place where it's happening? Because
Yeah.
if you understand the non-dual perspective that I'm constantly talking about, if you recognize, so we can either call it the Akashic Record or the block time universe, whichever words make more sense to you. If you're a scientist, you know what the block time universe is. If you're a spiritualist, you've heard of the Akashic Record. So people have a misunderstanding of the Akashic Record as if it's like a big library that you go and you read shit. The Akashic Record is all time and space in one solid state. It's all time and possible states in one place. So you can go backwards, forwards in time. You can go laterally in time. You can go to alternate dimensions where different shit happens, and you can experience it all. It's basically your imagination. That's another way to think of it. Now, the block time universe is basically the same idea. And in the idea of the block time universe, anything that can happen does. And your consciousness is what's moving. The universe is actually static. So the reality that you see in front of you that you think is moving around, like you think this candle's flickering, it's not. There is no flickering candle. There is just an infinite number of snapshots where all the particles are in different positions. And our flow through that block is what gives the illusion of time. So if I want to have the experience of telekinesis working, my consciousness will literally go, I'm going to go over there where when I do this, it does it. So it doesn't, so it's kind of like in the Matrix when the little kid's like, there is no spoon, is kind of what I'm telling you. There is nothing there to make it turn. There's nothing turning. There's nothing to turn. It goes back to the sixth patriarch of Zen when he was there. I've told this story probably last week. There's two monks arguing about a flag, and the first monk says, it's the flag that's moving. The other monk says, no, it's the wind that's moving. And they're going back and forth for a long time until finally the sixth patriarch of Zen comes along. And what does he say? He says, no, you're both wrong. It's mind that moves. And everybody was enlightened because it was such a brilliant thing to say. But it's true. The thing that's moving is not the flag. It's not the wind. It's your mind that's moving. Mind is what's moving through the truth of Brahma, of the Brahman, excuse me. Brahman being the all thing, the Akashic Record, the block time universe. That being that, you are the Atman, which is moving through that, thinking that you're somehow separate, and you're not. So it creates this illusion of things happening. Now, is that what's happening to Shaman? Is he shifting his reality? Because I can tell you right now that I don't believe that just changing your brain state doesn't, because you're not changing anything. You're just going where your brain state's a different place, right?
Which Shaman did follow through with another super chat. He said, you must reach the theta state and then reach the delta state and hold your trance. Then connect with the energy of that object, then work it from there.
You know what the problem with the theta and delta state is that if you're actually going there, you fall asleep. Like it's so like when I'm showing you guys like the binaural theta meditations, I have it at a very high theta, so you're not dead ass asleep when you're doing it. If your brain is down in the delta wave frequency, you're asleep. Like that's what's happening. Your brain just goes boop.
And theta is deep sleep.
Well, no, it's the other way. It's delta is the deep sleep. The theta is the one just above it. So the irony, though, and here's something that is interesting about it: the theta vibration is actually equal to what is going on in the Earth's electromagnetic field right now. So when you go to sleep at night and your brain goes into theta waves, it's actually synced up to the same frequency as the electromagnetic field of the Earth. Does that mean that your brain is tuning into the Earth's magnetic field? And if so, is that what's causing dreams? You're tapping into something bigger? Is that possible? Why not?
Yeah.
Like food for thought.
Well, how are you not connected to the Earth's magnetic fields already?
Well, you are, but I'm saying you're consciously tuning into it. It's like it's a resonance at that point. You hit a resonance frequency. So kind of like there's C1 and C7, right? They're all C, but if the universe is C4 and you're on C6, like, as in root node, whatever, you can harmonize, but you're not quite the same. But if you're both on C1 or C4 or whatever, the power is going to be that much more, right? The harmonics are going to be that much bigger. So at least I think that's how it works. I don't know. Fleshy's going to probably hit me in a second because I'm wrong. Patchwork says, I wish I was telepathic. You are telepathic.
You very much are, yes.
Yeah.
Even if you don't realize it, like I've had many things of telepathy. Like there's this one thing that people experience of telepathy. Everybody has had to at least experience this, and that's like, thinking of somebody and then they call you.
And then they call you, right?
You call them. Like I've had it many times, even with thinking of somebody and they show up at my house, like type shit. And yeah. That
hey Hermit, that was actually Lucille Ball, and she had got some fillings done. Look it up, guys. Lucille Ball got some fillings done, and she swore she could hear radio signals. It was funny as shit. But telepathy, like you said, we kind of do something like it all the time. But again, my question would be: remember what I said about magic before? If you're doing it right, you can't tell that you're doing it or predicting it. You can't tell the difference if you're doing it right. It's gonna be like both. So what I'm gonna suggest is that telepathy is like that again. Did you actually predict that your friend was gonna call, or did you make them call you, or which one was it?
Yeah.
You can't tell if you're doing it right. Or maybe you received something from them that made you think of them at that moment, right?
Yeah,
I know,
that's also what it is. So, yes.
Like my mom and I are uncanny. Like if I go to the bathroom, that phone's gonna ring every fucking time.
I've witnessed it.
So, yeah, man. So, so what's going on with magic lately? Have you been doing anything with magic? Any new spirits? Anything you're working with?
Yeah, I was actually curious about that too, to add a extra question on there, because we've heard stories and everything from you, but I'm kind of curious what got you into this to begin with too.
Well, all right, well, I'll answer DH's first. Basically, yeah, I have been. I've been doing a lot of magic and Luciferian witchcraft, the book by Michael W. Ford, and I've been working a lot with Beelzebub and Set, mostly Set though, and I been having a lot of dreams, including Set and things like that. And like there was this one dream, real quick, and I'll explain it. Like I was just like in the middle of this huge storm, and it's just storming around, and it's almost like a hurricane or a twister, and it's like I'm laying on the ground, and I can't get up because that's how the wind is. And as soon as the wind stops, and then I hurry up and get to safety, things like that. And that was like right after a ritual I did with Set, the Lord of Storms and things like that, and chaos, and I was just thrown into the middle of it like crazily. It was weird. And then there was this one dream
nothing like being
in
the eye of the storm, man. There's nothing like it.
Yeah. Like, let me tell you, I've had this one dream where these beings tried to convince me that I was dead. And I was like, no, I just fell asleep. And this one I became lucid in the dream. And they tried to tell me that I was dead. And it was like, yeah, your body's it's not working anymore. and then the thought like maybe I did die and maybe I came back. And but what I was is that I was kind of freaking out, not gonna lie. I was freaking out. I was like, no way, I can't be dead right now. And so I hurry up and I run, and then I hit this front flip, and then I use my mind so hard that I'm going to jump back into my body. And what I did was I did that, and as I'm flipping, I just jumped and did a flip. And like I closed my eyes, and then when I opened my eyes, as I'm flipping, I'm seeing myself go through some type of dimensional thing. Like I could see the Matrix numbers, like, you know, off the Matrix movie, the numbers coming down. I could see that, and then as I slowly fell back into my body, and I never lost consciousness. Like sometimes when you dream, you may wake up from that dream, and then, you know, but this, I'm flipping, and as I land on my back on the flip, I put my hand on my bed, and I'm like, oh yes, I'm back. And I don't know what that was, but it was weird. And I still think, like, what if I did die? But what if I made myself come back to life or some shit? I don't think I died. Man.
So let's take the symbolism of that experience. What I think is really happening is your guides, whatever they are, whatever you were interacting with, was teaching you at that moment that the difference between sleep and what you think of as death is zero difference. The only difference between sleep and what you consider death is that your body just can't be returned to. That's the big difference. Yeah. So when you go to sleep every night, you experience the same thing that you're going to experience when your body stops working. It's going to be no different. You know, when your body stops working, you're no longer going to have an identified body to live in. So your consciousness is just going to start creating more la-las to go to. Yeah. Every night when you go to sleep, are you aware of the transition between being awake and asleep? No. You know, you as you're falling asleep, you're there, and then suddenly you're not, and you end up being completely somebody else, right? And when you're that somebody else, are you aware of becoming that somebody else? No, it feels like you were always that guy, right? Yeah. So don't you kind of like wake up in a dream? Like, and when I say that, I mean, when you woke up this morning, do you remember waking up, or do you remember suddenly that you just were awake? You don't remember waking up. You just, hey, all of a sudden I'm in my bed and I'm not asleep anymore. Yeah. Okay, and the same thing happens in the dreams,
like,
right?
You know, it's like you're just always there. It's like you don't remember how you got there or any of that. You're just there playing out the scene, like as if it was already happening before. It's weird.
Precisely. Now, what if I told you that the thing you think is the dream is actually a memory of a thing that you experienced while you were sleeping, and so therefore it is not itself the dream? So when you tell me, I had this dream where XYZ happened, when did you remember having that dream? Did you remember it while you were dreaming or after you woke up?
Well, that's the thing. You see, the dream that I just told you about, I literally jumped out of that dream. Like, when I say I jumped out of it, and I jumped through the dimensions and back into my body, like, it wasn't like, you know, you wake up and then you're like, oh, I had a dream, and then, you know, something. No, like, I literally used my mind so hard because I was freaking out, and I was like, no, I am not dead. And then I just jumped through the dimensions, and I never lost consciousness. Like, as I fell down, as I'm hitting those front flips, and I fell into my bed, like, it didn't fall hard. I just fell softly. And then I opened my eyes, and I was still conscious. I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, okay.
So that sounds like a borderline lucid dream, which is another animal entirely.
It was, because that's what I was saying. Like, I became lucid a little bit because I was like, I even said, I was like, I know I just went to sleep in my bed, and I can't be dead.
So somewhere in there,
it was close to lucid dream, but I was freaking out so bad that I jumped out of it so crazily, which I could have stayed in and maybe had some fun. But
so what I'm trying to get at, though, is that the experience of the dream world, that is the things you see and feel and think are real, they really only materialize when you're in the embodied state. So when your consciousness kind of refocuses on your brain, you know, your brain being, to the best of my knowledge, though it may not prove it to be true, because there's theories that say that memory is not actually stored in the brain. There are some theories that show that. But I'm pretty sure that we could say the memories are stored on the surface of the brain, the gray matter. Because if that's what gets damaged, you lose memory. Now, does that mean you lose memory or access to memory? That's the question.
Yeah.
Is the memory stored in the brain or is it imprinted on the brain? That's the hard question, but I don't know yet. But so let's say that when you have a dream, you dream. I've told you guys the funny dream where I was like in this weird, like multi-story building, and I had to like cross between like these two big fat old guys smacking asses together. I tell that dream so people know I don't take myself that seriously. And I had to like navigate like this weird situation. And when I woke up, you know, that's when the real details started to fill in, right? So in other words, like, but unless I'm having a really lucid, vivid dream, I don't feel like I really know the dream till I wake up. Then I know the dream, and as long as I remember it, I hold on to it, then it goes away. So what I think is actually happening is, I personally think, is that when you're dreaming, the true nature of your mind, which is not created by the brain, but is rather felt by or inspired by the brain. Let's put it that way. The mind, the true mind, is inspired by the brain, but the brain, the true mind is not the brain.
Yeah,
and so
definitely.
when we go to sleep, the true mind is still there as a ripple in the consciousness that we truly are. It's a wave in that consciousness. It's still there. But it's no longer being inspired by the brain flickering and doing what it does. And so it goes off into the true astral, like the deep astral, like the deep end of the ocean. It goes below the surface and it returns to its more natural state. And it has whatever experiences those are. Those experiences are completely unrelatable to our embodied self. They're completely not, they're so alien that we could never talk about them. So when our consciousness refocuses on our bodily experience, when the mind reintegrates with the buzzing of our neurons, what has to happen is the context of that experience has to be translated into something that our embodied mind can relate to. And so what it'll do is it will kind of take your dream and then sort of like a sieve. You know what a sieve is, right? You know those things where you take your pasta or whatever and you shake it and the water comes out. It takes the dream, this big, well, a sieve would be for dirt. It's the same idea. So like a sieve is what you take, like if you're gardening and you throw all your dirt onto the sieve and you shake it and only the nice dirt goes through and all the rocks stick. So
just call it what it is, a really shitty bowl.
A really shitty bowl. So when, if you know what a sieve is, so your dreams are essentially your consciousness being like the dirt, the experience your consciousness had. It's like your consciousness is dumping the dirt into your embodied mind and then shaking it. And then whatever stays in the mesh is what you remember and experience as the dream. All of the other stuff gets filtered out. And so what ends up getting stuck behind is not the deeper truth. It is the symbolism the truth was in. So if you're having a dream that you're dead and you're like, no, I know I'm really alive. I know I'm really alive. That is your guides maybe trying to tell you, when your body's asleep, it's no different than when you're dead. When you die, when you think you die, nothing really dies.
Yeah.
Your body's going to shut down.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I know, but I just wonder why I would dream that. And then not only, let me tell you.
I think it's a message to you. I personally, I think it's a message from
that happened,
your guides.
I was running away from this person and his dog and this dude. And he was trying to get me and things like that. And then I remember grabbing his keys and then I ran out and then his dog came and it was supposed to attack me, but it didn't, and it ran right past me. And then after that, there was this weird ass looking cop car coming, like a go-kart, but it was a cop and it was trying to catch me and it was hopping over fences and I hopped over the fences trying to get away from the cop, and then I ended up just brutally beating him. And then I went back to that house and then there were more people there, and that's when they told me, yeah, you're dead, and whatever, however they said it. And I can't remember exactly how did they say it, but that's what they said. And
I remember like the dreams that I had like that were like that for me. Like I woke up going, oh shit, that meant something. Like I used to have them all the time where I'd be sitting there somewhere nice. We'll say like a school field or a park or maybe at the beach or something. And usually I'm with somebody. And I look up and I see a plane flying really low. And the plane's flying like not, I mean, kind of unusually low, like, oh shit, what the fuck? And I look at that plane and I go, if the world's going to end, let it crash right now. And sure enough, in the dream, every time the fucking thing tips over like it's drunk and just goes right into the water and boom, and shit happens. And I used to have that dream all the time. And then like 9/11 happened, and I remember seeing the planes hitting those buildings. I'm like, oh shit, that's kind of what it looked like, except it kind of like dove in wrong. Like, you know, and I'm like, I wonder if that was something trying to tell me something, you know, and so dreams are weird like that.
So,
and I'm a big fan of dreaming, man.
Yeah. So
if I could, I'd dream every
like,
night.
If that's a message, like, what do you think that could mean? Like, what do you? Because I mean, I really can't think of anything on what that could mean, you know. And I have
think
a lot
what
of
I said.
fucking subliminal meanings. I mean, symbolical dreams. Like, I dream every time I go to sleep, bro. I dream abnormally, and that's weird. Like, it does.
I wish I dreamed
have
like that
multiple
again. I used
dreams.
to.
Like, I remember more than one all the time. Like, I've had dreams where I've been with Freddy Krueger, and Michael Myers, and Jason, and Ghostface, and I fought all of them. And Freddy Krueger was the main one because, you know, he's the one who came back to life. I killed them all, and Freddy Krueger floated up. He came back to life, and he was fine because, you know, Freddy Krueger is the dream master. He's the one who comes in your dreams, not Michael Myers.
Jason did kick his ass though. Jason did kick his ass though.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, Jason. He can't fuck with Jason, bro. Only in the dream state. Cause he was fucking Jason over in the dream state though. When Jason was asleep, that's when he got the powers, and you know, and that's because, you know, I love those type of movies, so I understand where my subconscious would get the inspiration to create that. But it was, and I like that dream so much that I wrote it down because it was just so cool. But I'm a horror fan, you know.
No, I get you, man. I
thought it was cool that I actually dreamed of Freddy Krueger and escaped him.
How about this? How about this? Maybe I'm just dipping into my own gnosis too much, and because I often tell people, like, when someone wants a dream reading, I'll be like, look, that's what the dream means to me, and maybe your dream was actually meant for me to hear so that I get something out of it. But
hey, that's true, because some people ask me, not to cut you off, some people ask me the same thing, and I tell them that, you know, this meaning may mean different to you. Like, you have to go on kind of what you think it means.
So asking me what I think, like, I'm just being your friend and trying to tell you, but if it was me,
I just want to hear your opinion.
Yeah, I think if it was me, it's what I said already, that you are dead. You know, we all are basically living in this kind of. Are you guys still there?
Yep. Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because my phone rang, and so my phone is connected to this thing, and it started yelling at me. So we're all dead already, right? Because there is no difference. If you understand neurology, you understand that the difference between being awake and being asleep is more a matter of what's connected to what, not anything significant. In other words, when you're asleep at night, your brain is doing all the stuff it does now, just a little slower, a little different. You know, it's a different vibe. It still might be awake or asleep or whatever. It might be conscious or not. But
you know, they also try to say that, you know, when you go to sleep, that you are, you know, you hop into an astral vehicle, your subconscious mind, and you travel outside of your body, and then you have these experiences, things like that. But I personally don't think that's the case every dream. I do think that does happen in some dreams, but not.
I think it's happening to you right now.
Leave your body.
I think it's happening to you right now, brother. I think right now you're dreaming. I think right now you're sitting here and you think, no, hear me out. I think right now you're sitting here and you think you're Ace the Goblin. You think that I'm D.H. Thorne. And you are literally riding around this little astral vehicle that you think is this dude that's on the phone talking to D.H. Thorne, but that's not what's happening. That's not real. So you're in a dream right now, but you're dreaming something that, as far as you can tell, because you can't prove it, none of us can prove we're real. The only thing I can prove is that I'm experiencing this. That's all I can prove to anybody, and I can only prove it to myself. That's the essence of solipsism, but it's got a valid point, is that the only thing we know is true is our experience of ourselves. That's it. And we don't even know if the context is true. All I know that I can prove is that I am experiencing. That's it. I can't prove that what I'm experiencing is true. I can't experience that you exist. I can't prove that I exist. All I can prove is that I'm having an experience. Now, with that being said, go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
With that being said, the idea that we go to sleep and enter an astral vehicle is, you know, I'm going to be rude to whoever says that, it's retarded. Because what's the difference between that and what you're doing when you're awake? It's a matter of context. When you're awake, you think you're awake. When you're asleep, you think you're awake. When you're dead, you don't necessarily know you're dead. You might think you're dreaming. When you're awake, you think you're alive, but you might really be dead. So I got this partially because I went on a vision quest, so to speak, with Balaam and Amdusias to the infernal realms, which I do have to write about soon. It's going to be in my next book. And they showed me that. And one of the first things that they taught me was not to see that as a real place, but to understand it like a dream. I'm like, oh, so it's not true. And it's not real? He said, no, it's no more real than you are right now. It's no less real either. And so they would show me people suffering there. And they'd be like, and I'm like, so when did these people die? And they're like, they're not dead. They're still alive right now. You're seeing what's really going on with them. I'm like, whoa, what does that mean? So I'm like, so I'm starting to get this understanding that right now the thing that's solipsistically true, right? The thing that's true about solipsism is that what I'm experiencing subjectively is unique to me, and I can't prove it to anybody else. And I don't even know that anybody exists in it, but I do know that there's other minds because I know that I don't remember being me yesterday, so we could all be a million me's running around, okay? There are other minds. I don't dispute that. What I dispute is that the awareness is different. Like, I think the same consciousness that is right now pretending to be Ace the Goblin is the same consciousness that's pretending to be D.H. Thorne. And it's talking to itself. Yep.
That goes with oneness, and I agree with you on that, because at the same time, we're all one consciousness split into many different ones, you know, experiencing ourselves all at the same time. And that's, to me, that's true omnipotence, because, you know, they say omnipotence is like being everywhere, knowing everything at the same, all at one time. And you see, we are all one consciousness, and we are experiencing all these different areas of this reality all at the same time, just differently, and it's weird. But to go back to what you were saying.
Yeah, go ahead, but I'm just going to jump in. The word time is what makes it a problem, but keep going.
Yeah. And so back to what you were saying, and how I like to simplify what you were saying is that, you know, a realization. I like to think of, like, you know, life is like a video game. You know, there's even a whole simulation theory out there. And, you know, I've watched a couple videos on it, but I don't really agree fully all upon that, you know, but I do like to think of this life as like a game. You know, we are an entity, a spirit, an energy, consciousness, and we create this physical body, this ego that we are, and Ace the Goblin, D.H. Thorne, and, you know, and we're playing this online multiplayer game, which is what we call Earth. We come here, play this game, and we're not really these physical bodies. We are something much more, much greater than what this is, and we're just playing a game. This is who we really are. So yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying on that, definitely. But that's how I look at it. I like to look at it like video game.
I'm gonna jump in really quick. Shaman actually had 2 super chats, and I forgot to get to the last one. He says, "Have a great night. Thank you, my brothers and sisters. Blessings unto you all." Fucking thank you, Shaman. You have a good night.
And I want to give David Morgan a shout, because that egregores comment, I got to put that in my book somewhere. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to steal it. That's fucking brilliant. Ego egregore. I love that. That's fucking genius. I call it an ego egregore or an ego mask, right? That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that. That's a cool.
And you know what's funny? You know what my real last name is?
Don't tell us.
Well, I know you don't know, but you want to know?
You can chat it to me, but don't tell the world, man. That's the last thing I want.
I mean, I really don't care.
He's like, I'm loaded. I got a gun. What? I don't give a fuck.
You know, I don't care, you know, because people think that by hiding their real name that they can, you know, hide away from magical text, but that's not true. You know, if you're on Facebook, you can have a fake picture and a fake name, but you can still be attacked because that fake name and that fake picture is still energetically connected to who's ever using it. So, you know,
I'll agree with you there. That actually kind of goes into that conversation we were having a while back in Discord.
And I've actually seen people I've seen this on Facebook, bro, who said literally this is exactly why I use this fake picture and fake name, because no one can reach me. And I thought to reply to that, but I was like, nah. Like, I see a lot of shit on Facebook that, you know, I could reply to, but sometimes I just be like, nah, I'm not doing it, man. I don't feel like it.
Lowland Ancine said something that's relevant. He said, where was it? And I want to touch on it for a second because it's an interesting point, but I also want to clarify it and love it and shit on it at the same time.
Reality is consensual. You can't know reality if you're the only one in the universe.
So you are the only one in the universe, but you create the illusion of others. And I don't mean Ace creates the illusion. That's the solipsism is the idea that the person thinking it is real. Non-dualism is not solipsism. If you look it up, they are not the same. Though it has a solipsistic sounding element to it, because it does declare that there is only one consciousness, but it does not deny the phenomenology of what we experience as valid experiences. What it does is it says that what we're experiencing is an illusion. Now, the thing I will say to you is the idea that you're saying that we need to have more than one to have reality is correct. But reality is a delusion. Reality is not real. Reality, that's the mistake of the materialists. They think reality is real. Reality is a delusion that, yes, it has all these laws to it. Yes, it feels real. Yes, it's firm. Yes, if I shoot you in the head, I'm going to see you die. Yes. That's not what's at question here. The question is, does that mean it's real? And no, it does not. It just means that it obeys a certain... So
it's like
there is in science... It is like a game, and in science, and I want to hit on that too, because Alan Watts will.
You play GTA, and you go kill a bunch of motherfuckers on there. You see them die; they're dead. You see the blood and all that, but you know it's not real. You know,
it's not real. No. Yeah, and you only see what you see. Flesh Priest and I could be in the same server, and if the lag is there, he might see them alive for longer than I do. So, so there is no objective. So what I'm saying is that. The mistake is that there is an objective reality and that is all there is. Rather, the truth is the subjective and the objective are, in a non-dual understanding, they collapse. They implode on each other, and you can't tell. You can't say one is over the other. All you know is that everything you experience is through the subjective lens, but the objective is no less valid. It's just not. It's not the more real. In other words, your subjective truth does not emerge from an objective truth. The objective truth is experienced within a subjective experience, and you can't say anything else. Now, there's a scientific saying, what is time? And this one smart-ass scientist, probably smarter than he realized, said that time is just a way for us not to experience everything at once. And that's exactly true. Time is a limitation. So imagine consciousness as an infinite and eternal thing. And we say thing just because we need to say that in English. And consciousness is infinite and eternal. There is no end to it, and it does not age. It does not have a beginning. It does not have an end. It has always been, always will be, and will never stop being. Consciousness is the eternal one. To be that is amazing, but it's also not this embodied experience that we're having. So to be that one in its totality would mean that nothing that we're doing would have a real interesting meaning anymore. It would be like knowing the contents of an entire book all at once and not having to read it. It would be like knowing what we're gonna, like if you knew everything I was gonna say next, would you listen to me anymore? Of course not. You'd be like, I know what he's gonna say, I'm done.
I barely listen to you now.
Yeah, exactly. I barely listen to me. So the one, the source, the non-dual center of your consciousness, that thing that you are, what it does is it limits itself with an identity. It creates an identified mind. And to do this, it creates many dimensions of limitation. It creates an up direction, a down direction, a left direction, a right direction, a forward direction, a back direction, a time direction of past, present, and future. It creates hot and cold and light and dark. It creates all of these distinctive dimensions of possibility. And then what it does is it says, okay, I'm not going to be all of that at once. I'm just going to be contained in whatever proportion that I want to experience. If I want to be one molecule of substance, I will be that. If I want to be a galaxy, I'll be that. If I want to be D.H. Thorne, a blob of meat sitting in a chair, losing weight, trying to look cool on the internet, I'm going to be that dude. If I want to be Ace, I'm going to be that dude. And what it has to do is it has to forget. So it has to forget that it is the source. It has to forget everything else it knows. In other words, when I had my non-dual moment and I sort of started having that godlike evaporation feeling, almost like I was on shrooms or something, I really for a moment felt like I was everybody or something for a little bit. It felt really weird. It was like in Highlander, like the quickening. I know everything, I am everything. It was this weird fucking rush. And then when it went away, I lost all of that. I have no idea what it felt like to be a tree anymore. I couldn't tell you if you asked me. I couldn't tell you. But I know I felt it for a moment. And so you have to forget. Just like a dream, when you wake up in the morning, how much of your dream do you remember? Just a couple little bits of it. You have to forget being the other people, okay? Now, there is no context of time. There is no before or during or after. There is only experience, and experience is eternal. So you right now have forgotten that you're also D.H. Thorne. I have forgotten that I'm also Ace the Goblin because I have... It's why I keep using that Illuminati all-seeing eye symbol, because you are literally an all-seeing eye that is limited itself to this little tiny keyhole of a triangle, saying that's what I'm allowing myself to see is just what's in here. And that is my identity, is that. When you do that, you have this sense of delusion of Maya, and you get this solipsistic perspective, because you can begin to think that the only thing that's real is inside the triangle. That's solipsism, right? So that's where non-dualism and solipsism are not the same, because the solipsist will say that everything that is true is only what is in that triangular experience, that little keyhole that I'm looking through. The non-dualist says, no, all of it is true, but what you think is real is not real, but you are all of it. So one could say non-dualism could be like thinking of cosmic solipsism. It's like saying the universe is solipsistic. Well, if you ask a scientist, a real legitimate one, if you ask them and put to them the question, what are you seeking? Well, I'm seeking the universal law. I'm seeking the one law of nature, right? I'm trying to get the grand unified theory. And what is that going to look like? Well, we don't know, but it's probably going to be one simple equation that explains it all. So you're saying it's going to be one concept, right? One idea that explains, yes, one idea. So it might be one particle. We don't know, but probably like one particle or one something, one field of something that makes the whole universe happen. So you're talking about one thing. Yes, you're talking about one thing that manifests as everything. Yes, one thing. So you're talking about non-dualism, right? Oh, and they'll probably have a problem. They'll probably have a problem because they're going to, that sounds like mysticism. No, it's not. It's just a different way of getting there, okay? You can get there without having math and science to prove it. And I guess what I'm saying is that we have this propensity to think that not only are we separate from each other, but one moment is separate from another. So we think that when we're dreaming and asleep, that's separate from when we're awake. We don't realize that dreaming and sleeping are the same process. They're the same thing. They're just a little different context. When you're dreaming at night, you're no longer having an experience that is limited to just this body. You can now go throughout your entire imagination. When you're in this body, however, you have the context of, I am here, and that means everything else I see must not be real or whatever. It's a different context. So what I'm hoping, what I think your dream is trying to tell you, is to explore the idea that life and death, awakeness and sleeping are the same thing. There is no difference between any of them. It is all the same experience, and there is no division. We can say, oh, I know I go on after I die, but what does that look like? What do you think that means? Oh, well, I don't know. I guess it means heaven or hell. What does that mean? It's a never-ending dream. It's a never-ending dream. That's why that movie, What Dreams May Come, if you've never seen it, watch that movie. I think whoever wrote that movie, I think it is based on certain things like we're talking about. If I look it up, I think they did say, but try it, man. You might go, oh, okay. And maybe that dream you had was your higher self was trying to tell you your dream. Okay, so what did your dream people say? They said you're dead. right? They said you're
Yeah.
dead. You're not alive right now. Well, what am I telling you? You're dreaming right now.
Yeah.
Sounds the same, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, but that's the thing. I already know. Like I know that, you know, that there is no difference between dreaming and sleeping, because it is you that, you know, goes into that dream. And, you know, and I know this because, bro, I told you I dream abnormally. And whenever I get to Flesh's question and explain to you how I even came up on being spiritual and coming into witchcraft and magic, is, I'll tell you just a minute. But yeah, so but and it still kind of baffles me because I know that though, so I don't really understand it.
I'm going to respond to Wyatt Coverdale, and I think we're going to call it a night after I do. But Ace, you're welcome to stick around while I respond to this. But
Yeah.
Wyatt says, proof that time exists. You can throw a ball in any direction on the 3D world, anywhere, but you can't throw a ball from now into next week, can you? So it does exist as a separate dimension of space. Things move, therefore time, a point where something was somewhere, but then took a while to move to another area. Even Planck time has a function of time within it. Okay. That entire thing you said is experientially the case. You are experiencing that, which you just described. But let me give to you another example. I can tell you Einstein would probably take a giant shit on what you just said, by the way. Because Einstein is famously one of the people who said that time is relative, it's an illusion. Time is not real. It was Einstein that showed that time is just another direction. It's a geometric thing, and it's part of time-space. You cannot actually throw a ball without also making it go in a direction in time. However, Einstein brilliantly realized that the thing that must be moving through time is not the ball, it is you. Now, he didn't come out and say that the only thing moving is you. He was saying that each thing in the universe is moving within its own frame of time. That is to say, the ball does not move. You are moving. You are what's moving through time. What is you? Your consciousness. D.H. Thorne does not move through time. D.H. Thorne is a bunch of snapshots of something different every moment. And then what my brain does, when I say brain, I should say my mind, what my spiritual mind does is it sews together all of those little images and makes a story out of what it thinks is happening. It creates a past out of the current situation. Kind of like what your computer screen does right now. Do you really think when I go like this that my hand is moving across your screen? No, it's not. What's happening is pixels are lighting up in sequence. And it's, if you slow the video down, you'll see that each one of those is a measurable length of time where it's just stationary, okay? But you see it as a movement from one point to another. Now, there is the arrow of time paradox, and of course they have solved it where a mathematician says, well, what actually happens is as you keep dividing, the arrow of time is this idea, if I were to take an arrow and launch it with a bow and arrow, and I were to freeze time still, the arrow would be stationary in space, right? So then that means it's got no power. Like if I put my finger on it, it shouldn't do anything. And more or less, that's true. So then how is it that the arrow, if I launch it, if time really is that, if it's just a bunch of snapshots, how come the arrow has energy? Well, the illusion here is that the arrow is moving. That is the illusion. When you see, if the arrow doesn't move, that means the result of the arrow moving is also an illusion. So what's actually happening is, if there's an infinite number of universes, and each one of those universes is based upon a quantum state of difference between one universe and another, and every quantum can be infinitely small, like Planck length, like you're talking about. So if every possible variation between the universes can be as subtle as a Planck length difference, that means that there could be a universe where every single atom and molecule and electron and photon is exactly the same as this one, except one little Higgs boson particle is like Planck length to the left from where it is in this universe. That would create an entirely new universe. Bang, complete. That creates the effect of an infinite number of universes of potential difference. So, what that also means is that if that is all that's happening, what is moving? Would you say that there's an infinite number of universes, and then in that infinite number of universes, there's an infinite number of outcomes? No. That doesn't conserve energy. The idea that the universe is evolving from one state to another requires that there be a spark of energy that caused that we can't explain. We still have to explain that. We can't explain that. What I'm telling you is all of reality, from beginning to end, there is no beginning and there is no end, but from beginning to end is a static image. But there's so many infinite variations within that image that what is moving is your consciousness, not the stuff. So when you say I throw a ball into next week, what you're actually doing is your consciousness, like reading a book, is looking at chapter 1, and then it's reading all of the words between chapter 1 and chapter 2, and the amount of time it takes for your consciousness to go from there to there, okay, could be instantaneous. But you're going to play at having a certain passage of time. You're going to create this sense of time out of it, because you're going to say, yesterday is real, tomorrow is not real, etc., etc., etc. The issue is time is utterly an illusion. It is a contextual illusion. That doesn't mean we don't experience it as real in our daily life, because we have, as a consciousness, decided these are the natural laws I want to live in. This is a fun universe where I like throwing balls, so I'm going to pretend that I'm throwing a ball. So, Ace, you keep saying it's a game. I'm telling you that you're exactly right. That's exactly, and Alan Watts would probably agree. It's a game, you fool. He even has a meme somewhere where it says, do you think this is a game? And he looks all stern. And he says, good, because it is. That is a fundamental truth of becoming enlightened.
I've
you
never
understand
seen that meme, but yes,
it's not just a meme,
agree.
but he does say it somewhere. But yeah, that is the fundamental truth. So the idea that you are throwing a ball is a game. You're not throwing anything. You can measure time. You can prove time is an experience in this dimension of reality. Yes. This is why I'm not a Luddite. I don't say that science is wrong. What I'm saying is that science as a measuring stick, mwah, beautiful, good shit. Science as a designer of technology, sure. Mwah, the illusion of designing it, sure, fine. That's great. Science as the describer of meaning, no. And the problem is that most people confuse the two.
Yeah.
A good scientist will not do that. A good scientist will tell you they're not searching for meaning. They're just trying to measure everything and find the rules. That's a good scientist. A bad scientist is someone who takes the science that they experience and turns it into some kind of meaning, because what ends up happening is, since science itself is not in the practice of discovering meaning, they end up being nihilistic pricks in which there is no meaning, and instead of saying that means I'm free and I can make my own meaning, they just become a nihilistic prick, and they don't have any value. They're not having fun. They just think that they're a wiggly bit on the end of a stick that has no choice. And so scientists are terrible philosophers. Philosophers can make excellent scientists, though. So go ahead.
Do you agree with the saying that in ancient times, and there once was a time that science and spirituality weren't split up; they were one and the same?
No. Yes and no. No, I think that no. I mean, so humanity. The reason why that comes to pass as an idea is because humanity has been trying to figure out what it's experiencing since it first woke up as a sentient being. And your dog's doing it too. It's just they're not as good at it as we are. Like they're like, my ass smells. That's the meaning of the universe. But humanity has been trying to figure out its experience since the beginning, because part of the game, like, tell me this, when you're playing a video game, it's cliche, but isn't most good video games you start out not knowing who the fuck you are and you have to find out? Like, isn't that most of the coolest video games, right? You have amnesia, and you find out your backstory and shit. That's usually like the cool kind of story, right?
It's a good trope.
So yeah, it's a good trope. It's not the best necessarily, but it's a good one. So the universe is basically doing that every time it thinks it's getting born. So the universe is sitting there going, all right, that was cool. D.H. Thorne was cool. But you know what? I'm not done playing my game yet. I think I want to be Ace next. And you and I are going to be like, well, how's that possible? How can we be the same person at the same time? That doesn't make sense. The universe doesn't care. The universe just forgets it was D.H. Thorne and goes to your birth, lands in your body, so to speak, because it doesn't actually do that. But it focuses its awareness into your body, forgets it was ever D.H. Thorne or Flesh Priest or the dog, and says, I'm just going to pretend that I am Ace the Goblin. Now, let me give you an example of how this works too. When you watch a movie, do you ever put yourself into the position of the characters on the movie? Do you ever pretend I'm that guy? Or right?
Like, let me say, like it's been times that I've been tired, like really tired, and want to go to sleep, and maybe I'm watching something, and like there's some super action shit going on. You're like, damn, I wouldn't be able to do that right now because I'm tired and shit, like, you know. So I've been able to put myself in those.
You sort of put yourself in that guy, and like, have you watched a movie and like the guy's getting his hand cut off, and you're like, ah, like it bothers you? Okay, so you are. This is
or
a
like
thing
when
that
you
are
actually feel the pain, you know, even from a video of somebody failing, crashing,
like getting kicked in the balls or something, and you feel that ball hit. Yeah. So is that just empathy? No. What your consciousness does really well is your consciousness is very empathic. So your consciousness, it watches this it being a timeless being creates the illusion of time for itself by limiting itself into a singular moment, and in doing so, the illusion of a singular moment, and in doing so, it's got to scan reality left, right, up, down, forward and back, excuse me, and through the dimension of time. Okay, so it does all of these different directions at once. Okay, and time is one of them. So it moves through the time dimension, yes, but time, the illusion of time is that things move. Things don't move. You move. Your consciousness moves. The ball doesn't move, okay? Because when you say, I throw the ball into next week, are you telling me you can throw the ball out of next week? Are you saying that you can throw the ball so you can't see it next week? Is that what you're talking? Because I would like to see that. I would love to see that. So no, you cannot throw the ball around in time, but actually you do. If you understand, if you understand relativity, you know that the faster an object moves through physical space, left, right, up, down, etc., the slower it moves through time. A photon has zero time movement. It does not move in time. The photon does not experience time at all whatsoever, so it moves at the maximum possible rate in this universe. Well, what about an object that experiences time at the maximum rate? What does it do in this universe? It's perfectly stationary. It doesn't move, and the universe moves around it. Now, how could you tell the difference?
Like a tree.
You can't. You can't. You really can't tell the difference. No. It's just like being on a train. When you're on a train and you're looking out the window, if you didn't know better, you would think the world is going by. But you know that the train is moving, so you instinctively say, I'm moving through the scene. But if you were an infant, if I picked up an infant and gave it enough brains to talk and said, what's happening? It would say, the universe is moving that way. Yeah. That's what scientists are doing right now. They think that the universe is moving.
Have you ever been sitting in a car next to another car and that car starts moving? You think
and you feel like you're going backwards? And you think you're going backwards? Yeah, that trips me out every time.
Exactly what you're saying, bro, with the train.
Well, that's what reality is for each one of us. We think we're moving. We're not moving. The universe moves around us. Every single point in the universe, if I'm going to be a materialist for a moment, every single point in the universe is stationary, and the universe moves around it. Because no matter where you are in the universe, you're always at the center of it. You could look in infinite direction that way and an infinite direction that way, and you will see an infinity in both directions. You're always in the center, and we have what's called the observable universe. That is literally the farthest we can see within the amount of time since the universe began. So we are in like the equivalent of a center of kind of like a black hole. There's an event horizon beyond which we can never see past. We will never see past the observable universe. We'll never do it. Not only that, but there is a point beyond which we'll never influence within a span of time we can imagine. In other words, there is a wall of space that's moving away from us faster than the speed of light, so we'll never interact with it ever, no matter what we do. No. So my point is, each one of us lives in the center of a bubble of an illusion that is just You're never ever, if you tell me I threw a ball, I say, show me the you that threw the ball. And you're going to say, here I am. I'm like, you're not the one who threw the ball. Like, yes, I am. Of course I am. I'm going to say, no, because the person who threw the ball was different. In fact, if I measured you precisely enough, I could say that your molecules are completely in different positions than they were when you threw the ball. So you can't tell me that you're still here because that's an illusion. You're not here anymore. It's a giant mind fuck. And when you figure that out, magic is it's fun, but it's like, haha. It's not.
Something that the simulation theory, makes a lot of sense on is that, and what you were saying is that, we all exist in basically one space, like, and like I was saying earlier, like illusion is a distance as well. And like, and this also correlates with the game. You see, it all exists in one space. All dimensions all exist right here, right now, at the same time, all at once, which is why we have many different subtle bodies and existing on all of these dimensions at the same time while we're here physically. And you see how distance is an illusion with like a game is like, say, you're on Skyrim, you click the map and you fast travel just from that space right there, and then now you're there. But in all reality, there's actually no difference because you can fast travel like that. You can set tune to what dimension you want to travel to or whatever place.
This is why I love, one of the things I do love about our generation of humanity, and maybe why I'm here, is our generation of humanity has a unique gift in our technology. Our technology is already, and people might not even get where I'm going with this till I say it. Our technology is already training us to, starts with a D, not destruct,
detonate?
No. Come on. Well, it's already teaching us to have dissolution of ego. What I mean by that is when you play a video game, you realize that the character in the game is an avatar.
Yeah.
When you're on Facebook, you have an avatar. When you're on YouTube, you have an avatar. When you watch television and someone hits a fly ball, hit a home run, and it cascades over the thing. What's the difference between the ball on the screen there and the home run? Zero, because that's an illusory distance. It doesn't exist. Especially, you brought up Skyrim. If I see a dragon on that hill, how far away am I to that dragon? Zero.
Right there. Not far at all.
The distance is an illusion because it's just code.
Yeah.
All I have to do is go boop, and I'm there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so what makes it take a certain amount of time? Because the computer program said, take this long to go that far. It takes that long for it to do it. There's no reason for it to take that long. If you wanted, you could press a button and just appear next to him and kill him. It's that simple.
Yeah.
So we are already being primed. The beauty of our technology is we subconsciously know this, and our technology has been built around this more and more until we're here, where we are already looking at, hey, look, virtual world. Wait a minute, does that mean maybe we're living in a virtual world? And a whole bunch of people screamed and went, maybe we are. Now, the delusion though is this. The scientists, being a materialist mind, maybe on purpose they're doing this because they know better and they don't want people to figure it out, or maybe they don't know and they're still stuck in the materialist delusion. They know, they might not know. They often say, and I get really mad when they say it, that we're just a simulation in another computer.
Yeah.
And I go, how dare you assume it has to be a computer? How dare you assume that it has the same laws of nature that we have? How dare you assume that it's a computer program as you would understand it? If it's anything, I agree, simulation is true, but simulation is another word for Maya.
Yeah,
if you read the Vedas, go read the Vedas.
When I was
it's the same theory.
I studied Hinduism, yes. Because
and the Hinduism is not right hand. Hinduism is not right. I mean, well, Hinduism might be, but the Vedas themselves are not right or left.
Yeah,
they're
definitely.
They're just metaphysical truth, right?
Yeah.
So, everybody listening to me, go read the fucking Vedas. Go read them. I suggest the Vedas because they're easier to digest than, say, Plotinus. Plotinus is like You need a PhD in linguistics to understand what the fuck he's trying to say. I skim his ass. I don't like it.
It's not even just Maya either. Even in the what is it? I think it's the Tree of Life. It's another word as well that they use as Maya or simulation, but it's called the Alma de Shikra, which means the world is a lie, something like that.
Yes,
but I know that it's Alma de Shikra though.
I think the word lie, though, and this is where I run into trouble with Hindus and people like that, because when they hear Maya, they think it's like something that should be destroyed. Like we have to see the truth. No, you don't.
Yeah.
When you're playing Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, is the goal to turn the game off? No, it's to fucking enjoy the game, motherfucker.
For the experience, bro. That's what I tell people as well. That the main reason about even being here in this physical dimension is to experience it. Simple. Nothing.
Now, Wyatt Coverdale says he had an epiphany. He says, if the universe is full of nothing, then it should be black. It shouldn't be black. It should be clear, which means something is in fact covering the universe. Is there? Well, no. You're lost in your own head of symbols right there, brother. When I say the universe is full of nothing, put a hyphen between the no and the thing. When you do that, you'll now understand what Zen is telling you. The word nothing. The word nothing is both, when I say the universe is nothing, I am both being literal and euphemistic. I can't think of the word, but I'm also putting a hyphen between no and thing. The universe is. That's it. There's nothing else you can say about it that is true. The universe is. Yeah. Neti. Via
now
negativa.
I remember where that saying comes from. It comes from the Kabbalah, which is the Tree of Life. But yeah, that's the actual name.
Right, and if they say it's a lie, that's a human value judgment placed upon something cosmic that they'll never understand. That would be like saying, when a Christian says, well, if good and evil can exist, how can God be mad at evil if God created everything? And they're right. That's obviously wrong. That shouldn't make sense. So if you're telling me that if you're telling me Abrahamists believe that reality is a lie,
even in the Bible, God says that, or whoever, I think it was Jesus or one of them, and it said,
I am the architect.
I create these things. I create all things. Whatever it said, right. I can't quote it, but yeah, you know.
Sure, I know what you're saying, because I don't have a hard-on for hating the core mysticism behind Abrahamism. I hate the religion of Abrahamism. I hate the Yahweh said this and that.
The tyranny of it, the things that they've done with it, such as the killings of all different civilizations and cultures, and making people follow this religion. That's the thing. But there is very much truth to Christianity and to Jesus and all of that.
There is truth in it. Like you can definitely, through the allegories, and like I've said, if you know where to read between the words, you can find a lot of truth in the Bible. The problem is that as a religion, it's bullshit. It's worse. Yeah. I'd rather a Hindu, because a Hindu has a very open perspective of spirituality. If you say I worship a demon, they're gonna be like, oh, that's cool. They're not gonna be like, oh, get away from me, Satan. They're not gonna, sure, there's some sects that are like that. I shouldn't say that they're not, but what's his name? Sadhguru would say, if you go to India and you start worshiping a tree, no one's going to question it. They're going to be fine with it.
Or they say that, I know that I'm God, and they'll be like, oh, finally you came.
You just figured that out. Yeah, exactly.
That's another Hindu saying, bro.
Right, and so there's actually left-hand Hinduism. If you look it up, it does exist.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's where the left-hand path mostly comes from, a lot from Hinduism, the left way. That's what it's called.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was who was it? EA's friend. Not everybody likes him. What's his name? Timothy.
Timothy?
Yeah, Timothy. Yeah, Timothy. His editor or whatever. He usually puts it forward, and one of the last books I have from them, I think it was in Ball. He talks about left-hand Hinduism. I'm like, finally someone's really talking about it. So, and it's something I don't know much about, because I don't generally care that much, but because I don't care about religions, I care about the meanings behind things. So, So Fleshy left, so we can't close the stream. He's gone, so we're gonna.
Flesh left. Oh damn, where'd he go?
He left. Don't worry, Wyatt. You're fine, dude. I correct you, but I correct you as that 14-year-old. Don't even worry about it, man. If I met you at 14, we'd probably be good friends, buddy. We'd probably be on the same level. The fun thing is, everything I'm doing to your brain with all of these conversations and whatever you're figuring out because of what we're having this conversation, you're going to find it harder and harder to relate to the average human being just like me, until eventually you're probably going to become a psychopath with a fucking YouTube channel just like me. So don't be too much competition if you don't mind.
Or you do understand every human being because because we are every human being. And that's the thing. A lot of people get mad and things about a lot of things of reality and about people as well, and don't really understand why a person would do such thing and things like that, and they don't really think about it. But I have a lot of understanding on people of this world and many other people who aren't like me, and that's why I said that I understand that people aren't gonna like everything that I like, and I can't sit there and be mad because you don't like Dragon Ball Z. Like, no, I can't get mad at that because I already know that everybody isn't gonna like that shit. It's simple, and some people can't grasp that, so they really can't. I've sat there and watched them. They'll get mad because you disagree. They'll get mad because I disagree with something of theirs, and they'll literally get mad and try to start an argument, or really like take it personal, and that's just I can't do that. I was wondering why Flesh wasn't saying anything though.
Yeah, he's basically tapped out on us. I think he died. We'll have to summon him with some necromantic arts, and he's gonna come back like, oh shit, you guys closed the stream. Yeah. So Patchwork says Isaiah 45:7, from I form the light and create darkness, I make peace and create evil. I am the Lord, do all these things.
That's it. Yeah.
And I think like that's why like one of my epiphanies was the recognition that if you read the 10 Commandments and take the first commandment, I am the Lord thy God, there shall be no God before me, and you say that literally as in I, as in D.H. Thorne I, as in I the universe I, as in that non-dual I, and realize that's you.
Yeah.
That's when the 10 Commandments make sudden sense.
What?
That's when it suddenly makes sense.
Wow.
The whole Bible makes sense at that point. You realize that the whole
does.
metaphor and allegory of the Bible makes sense.
I agree.
So Flesh is back. So now that he's back,
okay,
go ahead.
Did I miss anything?
Not
I
much.
think Ace was about to say something.
But,
I keep cutting him off. The poor guy's trying to talk.
I've even told a lot of Christians, like in debates, and that's the thing. Like I actually like debating with Christians and telling them a lot about the dark arts and things like that, just because they're so baffled by it or even scared. And for some of them, I can't fucking do it. No, some of them are just completely fucking no, I can't do it. But I tell them a lot. Even Jesus says to find God. And not even Jesus said this. This is an Egyptian proverb. To find God or the kingdom of heaven is to go within, because you infinitely are God, everything, the universe, source, whatever.
Yeah. And when you find that, the problem can be is you've got to recognize that it's not Ace that's the source. It's that the source is Ace, right?
Yeah.
You've got to make sure you invert that a little bit. You got to invert it a little bit and be like, okay, wait a minute. I am the source, but I'm not Ace. But Ace is what I'm wearing. Ace is what I'm being right now. And
Exactly.
and then, but I really want you to get to the heart of what that I is. Because if you can find that I, you're going to be the first person in the universe to ever do it. That's the other irony.
Yeah.
Is it is not a thing you can find, but it is a thing that finds things, right? So
Did you
I think
already
because
read this super
it's not a
chat from
thing
Patch?
that needs to be found. Well, sorry, go ahead, Flesh. My bad.
Oh, you're good. DH, do you already read the super chat from Patchwork?
Yes, I did. Yes. I
Oh,
did.
okay, cool.
Oh man, can I just tell you guys, I'm getting so much hate from my ego comment that I made, that ego post that I made.
I was gonna
man.
say something about that. I saw that post. I liked it.
I'm sure most people who have a brain did. Most people who read that, anyone who gets offended by that ego statement has a gigantic motherfucking ego. Anybody who reads that and doesn't go, yeah, that's all true, has a huge ego. Because when you've got a problem with ego, that's your ego talking. If your ego,
what did they have a problem with?
I don't know. They just like that. I'm reading this other guy's comment on my Facebook one. I hope I'm not misreading him, But he's commenting, the more words you use, the more your ego stands out. It's like, dude, I just told you I don't have a problem with ego. The fact that I don't care that I manifest an ego means I'm actually pretty cool about it. The fact that you have a problem with having an ego means you're never going to get rid of it, motherfucker. In fact, I curse you to have more of it. I love that you have one. Everyone should have that.
You're going to have an ego in every dimension.
Well, I mean, you don't have an ego. You experience one. Sorry.
Yeah. It's not you. It's a character you create.
Yeah. And you know what? It's this character
acting.
To be full of itself.
We're acting as well, like a movie.
Well, no. Yes, I do have a problem, I guess. I mean, what my problem is that I wish it was just more clear to people. Like, to me, it's like so easily obvious. And the thing that bothers me is that they want it to bother me, so then it bothers me. Like, it's an irony, I give you that. It is ironic that it bothers me.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's like when I manifest this ego, I don't lord it over people. I don't go to your house and be like, I'm better than you, motherfucker. I'm the universe and you're not. You know,
Bro.
that's not what I'm doing. What I am doing, though, is standing firm in my own experience and saying, sorry, you don't get to tell me what my reality is. Yeah. That, to them, offends them because they've been raised with a right-hand moralistic idea of ego where you need to be humble.
I was about to say that. I was about to say the only reason that they truly combat us with this ego shit is because of this fucking right-hand path teachings of that you should kill your ego and all that shit.
It's a total bullshit excuse to give control to somebody else. Yeah. I encourage every one of you out here right now. Do I lord my ego over you guys? Now, yes, I overtalk a lot of people, but that's because I'm kind of like I have a thing when I think I know something and I want to help you understand it. Like, I'm just an Aries and I'm just like, and I just steamroll you. But when I listen, I am listening the whole time. You can ask my students, my personal 101 students. They're like, I don't know how you know because you don't listen to me, but you know what I'm going to say. I'm like, yeah, I know.
It's funny because you say you're an Aries, but my girlfriend is a Pisces and she does the same thing.
I'm actually on the cusp anyway. Maybe I am a Pisces. But, you know, so what bothers me about it? And in a way, it's fair that Fire and Hearts is saying that. It's actually fine because that's what I wrestle with. Why do I care? Well, I think it's like the same thing I care like if someone said, falsely accused me of something, right? Mm-hmm. I am sincere to a fault. I do not like when I'm misrepresented. So when someone says, you know, Thorne, you have a huge ego, I'm like, yeah, I do. Well, haha, see, I caught you. It's like, no, you don't understand. I'm okay with that. It's not a hurdle. The hurdle is that you think it's a hurdle. That's why it's a problem. Well, then you just have, you know,
it's like
they're trying to get one up on me is what it is. They're trying to dominate me with their ego.
They just want to win.
Yes.
This isn't about winning or losing, right? And that's what I've actually said that a couple times to someone, and it's really not. And the thing is,
if you can show me the person that exists without an ego, well, first of all, they got to show me that they're a person. That's the first thing they got to do. But if you can show me a human that doesn't have the experience of an ego, I will tell you just won the universe. You know, so it's like, that's like my post. What's the first thing I say? To be human is to experience ego.
Yeah.
Full stop. That's it. To experience humanity is to experience an ego. Well, I'm sitting here in a chair and I have this and I think I'm here and I think I'm D.H. Thorne. So yeah, I guess I'm having an ego experience. Hey, that's nice. You know you got an ego, Thorne. It's really out of control. So is yours, asshole. What the fuck are you trying to tell me? Like, oh, get the fuck out of here. Right? I want everybody to be as comfortable with their ego as I am. I want Ace to be like, look at me, I'm a musician. Look at this. This is who I am. Blah, blah, blah. So long as you know. The secret, though, is not that you shouldn't have an ego. That's why I actually used the Alan Watts cover I did with the smoking and drinking shit.
Yeah.
People think that an enlightened person has no ego. I challenge you to go find a single person in the world that's enlightened that doesn't experience ego. I challenge you to go find a single person that doesn't do these things. You're never going to find it. And anybody who claims that that is what you're supposed to be like has no idea what it is, and they're just trying to brag. I am telling you all that go out and embrace your fucking ego.
That's dogma at its finest when they tell you that this is what it should be. No,
right.
That's not how.
Right.
That's also goes with rituals and things, you know. You shouldn't do rituals like following dogma that, oh, you should do the ritual this way, because you can create a ritual yourself and it'll still have the same effect as that one that you think that you have to do. Like, you have to do it in these certain steps, and you know, you can't incorporate nothing, you can't do anything else but those steps, and that is dogma.
And one other thing about ego is, what I was trying to really get at is, we all have the experience of ego. Even when we're disembodied, we tend to retain a sense of ego, because that's part of what motivates us to live. Okay? Yes. When you don't have an ego anymore, you go back to being the source, and then this whole experience goes away. So long as you're enjoying this experience, you must have an ego on some level. Even if it's simplistic, you have to have it. Okay? That's like saying, Thorne, you have Atman. Yeah, I know I do. What? What are you trying to say? Of course, actually, I don't have Atman, actually. I keep getting tripped up on my own English. There is no one here to have Atman, but I am experiencing the Atman. And so therefore, in your limited way of understanding as an egoist, like it's telling me I shouldn't have one, I have to use your language and say, yeah, I have an ego, so what? The secret, though, the point when you reach, so like the Buddhist idea of reaching nirvana and ending suffering and all of this, is not to end the experiences. It is to transcend them and understand that you are not the thing that's experiencing it. If I chop my hand off, I didn't chop anything off. A hand was cut off of this body. I'm not this body. I'm not this mind. I am not D.H. Thorne. I am this thing that's behind it, wearing it like a mask. So when you throw shit at my mask, the truth behind me doesn't care. But D.H. Thorne cares, because D.H. Thorne can be an asshole. Fair. Why would I deny that? Why would I pretend that D.H. Thorne can't be an asshole? Am I supposed to hate myself? Is that what you're telling me, that I need to hate D.H. Thorne? Isn't that a right-hand path thing to do? No, I don't hate D.H. Thorne. I recognize, yeah, he can be an asshole, and you know what? I hope he's not going to be an asshole to someone who doesn't deserve it. But beyond that, I'm still going to love the motherfucker, otherwise why am I here? Right? So I'm here experiencing D.H. Thorne as D.H. Thorne. In his body, I'm role-playing D.H. Thorne. Since I'm role-playing D.H. Thorne, I want to be the best D.H. Thorne I can be. I want to live that character fully. I want to taste everything he's tasting. I want to be a dick to people when they're dicks to me. I want to pretend and having a huge ego. I want to do all that. That's what I want to do. But again, you're also talking about a character I'm playing online. You guys not get that? That's the other layer. There's one more layer that these people don't get. You're throwing stones at a cardboard doll that I prop up on a camera to do this in public. Do you think when I turn this camera off that I'm sitting here talking to my wife like this? Do you think that I go through my life living this way all the time?
No.
Some of it, yes. I mean, this is my room. This is what I do. But do you think that this personality I've asked Flesh, when we're playing games, there's pieces of this that's in there. Am I this talkative and pushy and all this? Or am I usually just like...
how much you hate the game.
All right, good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Very good point. Yeah, so no, I am not limited to this little illusion that you guys are, this dog and pony show. That doesn't make me fake. It just means that I'm playing a character for you guys a little bit. Some of this is, I am sincere about it. So like, it's a weird paradox. I'm not saying I'm making it up, but I'm saying I'm on camera. Do you think that's my natural state, or is this the on-camera Thorne? If you say on-camera Thorne has an ego...
based on reality.
Yeah. Like, I just says, LOL, Alex Jones. Love to hate him sometimes. Glad he exists. Think of me like a Alex Jones light. Quite literally. I'm probably lighter than he is now, fat fuck. You know, so what do you want? Do you want me to make your ego feel so much better by acting humble for you? Do you want me to be like, oh, poor baby, your feelings matter. You don't fucking matter to me. You're a nobody. Flesh matters to me. This motherfucker comes out here every week. If Flesh says, Thorne, you're being a dick to me online, you're over-talking me too much, I'll feel bad. Because Flesh earned the right to criticize me like that. Some rando online who says, Thorne, you got too much ego. You don't know me, motherfucker. So why does it bother me? It bothers me because I really try to be sincere about it. I really try not to pretend that I don't have one. That's like when somebody burns a witch, right? Especially if they practice magic. And You know, it's like, yeah, they practice magic. Doesn't mean they're a witch, right? Doesn't mean that they're evil and worshiping Satan or something, right? It's kind of like that. Yeah, I don't deny at all that I have an ego. But I think what's hurting is that you have too much insecurity and you don't like that I don't manifest that the way you do. You don't like that I'm not bending over to give you power. I never will. Never will. I will always say, the more you push, the more I push back. The more I'm adversarial by nature. The more you say you have an ego, the more I'm going to act like it. Just because I want you to be like, ew, and go away. That's what I want. Go away. So, all right, I'm flooding the internet with my own shadow here. Man. So, but you know,
I agree, man.
It bothers me because it's a right-hand path mind, and it's like, why are you in my circle then? Why are you here? You're trying to change me. Yeah. Go away.
And that's the thing. They won't really understand it until they actually delve in and actually gain the left-hand path knowledge. They won't understand it because they don't know it. Totally ignorant to it. And they also have this wrong perception on what ego is anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they equate ego with rudeness, for example.
Yeah, exactly. That's
not how this works.
That's not what ego is.
No. If you just don't like my behavior, you don't give a fuck about my ego. You don't like that I overtalk people. You don't like that I have an opinion that's firm. You don't like that I act like I know what I'm talking about all the time and you disagree with it. You don't like what you don't like about yourself, really, is what it boils down to, because what I'm doing doesn't affect you, right? So you're actually mad at how it makes you to feel to be like, well, I don't do that. How come he gets to do it, right? So,
exactly.
That's what it boils down to. So when I see that, it gives me two kinds of headache. One is like, you don't get me, bro, and it pisses me off. And number two is like, you're really the dick here, because I'm not going to your house and saying, well, how dare you do that? You're coming to my space. I'm not taking my videos and putting them in your face. You followed me, motherfucker. I don't send friend requests to anybody.
Exactly. Like, that's the thing about the internet. Like, there's tons of motherfuckers on the internet. If you don't like this person, go find somebody else that you do like. Come on, man. You don't have to. This is free speech, free for all, for everyone. You don't like it, you just got to find somebody else. You can't make them stop. You can't do it.
Mm-hmm. And this is my house. When you're in my house, my rules.
My rules, clearly.
When we're in your house, I'm playing by your rules. Why do you think I don't go visiting people very often? Because I don't like other people's rules.
Hey, I feel that.
Come to my house. I'm a very generous host, but at the same time, man, fuck that. I don't have a lot of rules in my house. Just be respectful. That's all. So, I mean, I didn't want to talk about what these people are saying because that's not it. But the thing is that the ego conversation needs to be had occasionally, because I have a very assertive personality. Oh, yeah. I'm an Aries sun. I'm a Cancer moon. I'm a fucking, my first house has Pluto in it. I'm all these fucking whacked out things. I've got like, I think it's 11 trines in my fucking chart. So yeah, I tend to be a cocky motherfucker when I get going. But you know what? If you get to know me, my Cancer moon is the truth. My Cancer moon is a sensitive motherfucker. I feel you. I know what you're thinking. I know when you don't like me. And my Aries side says, he doesn't like us? Let's fucking kill him. You know? And I have to be like, stop it. Stop. Don't do that. Don't do that. You know? So, I mean, what do people want, you know? Would you guys, let's put it this way. For those of you who are my sincere friends and fans, would you like me to just suddenly act like a humble asshole? Be like, I'm sorry, I'm not very good at this. Boom, as I do all these things that I do. Does it make you feel better when someone who's good at something acts like they can't? Or is that not just a bigger ego mask? Is that not just a way to show off that much more? If I kicked your ass in something, let's say Ace, let's say you and I had a rap battle or a fist fight, and when it was over, you're like, damn, you're a good fighter. I'm like, it was nothing. How would you feel about that? No, you wouldn't like it at all. Wouldn't you rather me be like, yeah, I am fucking good, but you're pretty good too, man? Wouldn't you prefer that? Because when I see people, I don't look at them as inferior. I look at them as, okay, maybe they're not as good at this, but damn, they're good at that other thing. I don't see inferiority in people. I don't. I see toxic elements I don't want to deal with, but I don't look at people and go, you suck. In fact, I want you to be like Well, maybe not act like me because I know I can be an asshole, but I want you to feel like me. I want you to feel like you're on top of your world.
Bro, you act just be you, bro. I don't want you to change anything on how you act or what you say. No, I'm not like that. So you can act just the way you are now and how you always are. I'm cool.
And if someone's toxic, they're toxic. That is a different thing, by the way.
Yeah.
But there is that song, "It Takes Two to Toxic," and they're not wrong, right? You can't be toxic without somebody else. So, you know, for every abuser, there's someone who likes to be abused. For everyone who's sweet, there's someone who likes people to be sweet to them. There's always going to be a give and take. It just means I'm not meant to be with people who value humility. That's all. And I don't have a problem with that. You don't go see me seeking those people. I look for the people who look for the racehorse, the one who does well. That's who I look for. If you want to follow me, you're not going to be so insecure that my over-the-top ego bothers you. You're going to go, yeah. I mean, I got to parse out the ranting, but it's pretty cool shit. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm kind of off into. That's also like what I was saying to Flesh Priest before. I don't know if I said this on air or not, but what bothers me is not that they said it, but that it bothers me. Right? That's the thing. Is it's not that they're saying that I have an ego, it's that I want to fight it. And that's where I've got to do that shadow work. That's where I got to go, why do I care what they think and not just block their ass? Why do I care to argue it? On the one hand, I want to make the argument about ego because I think it needs to be pressed more in this civilization. I think more people need to be okay with having an ego. Yeah. What they need to do, though, is to respect other people at the same time.
Yeah.
You can have infinite ego so long as part of that ego is, I'm not going to hurt anybody unless they really have it coming.
Hell yeah.
Right? You can be benevolently arrogant. It is possible. And that's what I prefer. So.
Yes.
Thank you, Anton. Anton says I'm an inspiring badass. I know my ass is bad, but I did take a shower yesterday, so it's probably fine. I'm kidding.
That's funny, man.
I mean, for real, you know, I wouldn't even be able to wrestle with this conversation if I didn't have a good ego. If I was insecure about myself and humble all the time, I'm so insignificant. Oh, I don't really exist, and blah 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 blah. I wouldn't be able to examine my flaws, as you call them. I wouldn't be able to say, why does it bother me to have an ego? Oh wait, it kind of doesn't. It just bothers me that you think I do, right? Yeah. And I wouldn't be able to even pull that apart. So anyway, guys, it's all about me, and that's what I hate.
Nah, it's not. It's about us all.
It is.
I am you. Remember?
That's true. No, what I really hope is that
you're all everything. You're all.
I do sincerely hope that when people watch me, that they put themselves in my shoes. I do sincerely hope that they imagine what would I say if I was in Thorne's position, and you know, if their response is to do it completely differently, then you're not getting anything from me. So leave, right? If you think that everything I'm doing is wrong, you don't belong here. Exactly. It's that simple. I don't come to your house and tell you how to live. That's all.
I agree, man. I agree.
All right, guys. I think I kind of went too long. Fleshy, I'm gonna shut up for a minute.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I'm starting to lose it. I need to log off soon. I think
because I wanted to end it a half hour ago before I got into this rant. But so orange soda, I need an orange soda right now. I need more water actually. I realize that part of the reason I get panic attacks is I'm dehydrated, so my heart starts fluttering and I start needing water, and I don't drink. So I'm like, fuck, I just drink soda or something stupid. So let's do a quick buy our crap segment. And everybody right now, Ace the Goblin, put the link to your YouTube in the chat, or maybe Flesh can do it, or maybe we can find it. Let me look for it.
Yeah, I got that.
You have it? You got it queued already?
Yeah.
We'll put that in the chat.
I don't need any people buying. I just want subscribers. That's it. Subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Brick by brick, day by day, that's how the castle gets built up anyway. So you got to take your time. Just make sure every day you do something that nets you like 1 or 2 subscribers. That's all you got to do. And eventually that'll just snowball and it'll do better. You know, if it takes, you know, because you're new, like what do you got? 100, 200 subscribers? I forget how many you got.
Well, I recently just reached 305. because I was
right,
at $299, and then I actually posted it, and I was like, yeah, let's get to 300, and it did, and so well, nah, I feel pretty good about that.
All right, good, brother. Make sure you put that out there a lot. I mean, don't be shy. Like on my Facebook
no.
group, if it's magic oriented, like if you're talking about demons or something, throw it out there, man. Just fucking anything that has to do with, like, if it synergizes with my work, just throw it out there, brother. I want to see you succeed. I really do. You know, I really do. I'm a fan.
Thanks, man.
So I want to see you succeed.
Yeah.
So someday when you're doing live shows or something, just send me a ticket when you got millions of dollars, and just have the limo with the big hard looking motherfucker, you know, security guard. And, like I want the earpiece and shit. And
That's funny, man. You know, definitely. I'm gonna want the DH with me.
Listen, brother, we love you. So everybody go there to that link. Fleshy just put it up in the chat. Check him out. Unless you absolutely hate, unless you hate that kind of music or something, then what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know, but
then you're wrong.
Then you're just wrong. But give them a listen. If you like it, sub them.
Will probably be in the pinned comment below.
Yeah.
David, I don't know. I like to think I'm balancing the electrolytes, but I can't have bananas, and I've always had a potassium thing. So I might be. But the thing is, I was getting some of these like heart flutters before I lost the weight, and I was afraid that it was that it might be like heart problems. But if I tell you that my heart's like excellent, like I take my heartbeat all the time, and my resting heart rate is like high 60s and low 60s. Like when I'm really relaxed, it's like sometimes it's actually around 50. Like, and that's after losing the weight. I mean, like when I lost my weight, my heart was just like, oh, thank God. Because I was an athlete growing up a little bit, a fat one, but an athlete, like a football player, you know, like I could run a mile or two as a 280-pound dude or whatever. So I'm actually not that bad, but maybe there is something going on. Maybe I have like plaque in my arteries or some shit, and that's it. But honestly, I have a history in my family of anxiety and panic attacks and depression. And I know I have seasonal depression, and I have anxiety
too, man. I'm not gonna even lie. I do. I have it. Kind of. I've had a dream that I've had a panic attack, but I've never actually had a panic attack in real life. But I do get anxiety real bad though. But it's not something that, you know, it's too bad.
Do you
I can handle it, but it's not.
Do you get like a heartbeat thing when you get that, or do you like? Because I don't get, because
like,
I'm
or like my breath, like I run like if I'm talking,
you feel breathless. All right.
Like if I'm in an argument and I'm just going in, like, well, not even going in, but like when I'm talking, my heart starts to race really bad, and you know, I start to feel breathless, like you said, and just weird.
Because I'm pretty sure that's what 90% of it is. Now the thing was, it was giving me health problems though, because I was 325, and I was sedentary for almost a year because I quit my day job and started doing this, and so I would go for a walk, and the first maybe 200 to 500 yards of that walk, my heart would be racing and my chest felt like tense. And then after it was like it pushed through a blockage, and then I felt fine. I was able to run and walk and do whatever I wanted. So I don't know what's going on. It might be a little bit of everything. Honestly, I don't care. Like it's like it goes and it comes, and I'm mostly like I told you guys, I could run up a flight of stairs right now. I wouldn't be wheezing. My heart wouldn't be racing. I'd feel fine. So studying my medical stuff, like, because I am a giant nerd, I'm pretty confident that I probably have high blood pressure or something, but I probably have anxiety and panic attacks. That's probably what's really the big thing. So because when I have them, like I get them when I go to bed, and it's when I'm trying to go to sleep, and it's usually during the daytime, and that's when I get it.
Yeah. And I know one trait of anxiety is that I get real shaky as well. Like if I'm like feeling that heart race, like I get really shaky. Like my hands are just shaking. I have to move around a bit and stuff.
And since I don't have a chatty brain, like I have a chatty mouth, but I don't have a very chatty brain, when it happens, I'm not actually thinking about, am I going to die? Well, I might be thinking, do I have a heart problem or something? But I'm not thinking about negative things. I could be sitting there like watching porn or something, something happy, and it's like, oh, what the fuck, So, and I shouldn't say porn because obviously my heart rate would be fast. I'd be watching like dog videos or something, and my heart might get. So like, there's nothing wrong.
Not a great segue there.
Yeah, good
Can't
segue.
lie.
David Morgan said more spinach, brother. I eat spinach like. I haven't eaten it much this week, but I normally eat spinach a lot because I love spinach. So, maybe maybe but definitely the panic attacks and I don't know. It could be. I'll tell you one thing. I was having the feeling all night last night, like from I'm gonna say 1 in the morning till 4 in the morning, and around 4 in the morning I got up and I drank a whole glass of water, and within 2 minutes it went away. So I have a feeling it's got something to do, because all I'm drinking is 2 cans of soda for lunch and 2 for dinner and 2 at bedtime. So overnight. So I'm probably overdoing it on the soda for one thing, and I'm probably getting dehydrated. So that's probably what it is. I don't think that. I really do think that's it. And Eddie, I mean, I get what you're saying, because that he says there's no doubt. You're dying. I will say, okay, to be fair, when I start feeling the flutters, I do get existential dread. I do, but it's not like it doesn't start with existential dread and turn into a heart flutter. It's my heart's happening and I'm going, why do I feel like this? And that's that. But I think it's in my family. My mom has to take medication for it. My dad has it. My sister has it. Everybody has it. So I'm surprised it didn't manifest sooner. And I'm sure the Buddha would get them too. That's the thing. Don't think that enlightened people don't get mood disorders. They do. And I'm not saying I'm enlightened, by the way. I'm just saying don't think that somehow invalidates what I'm saying. Keto is diuretic.
I'm gonna jump in real quick. I need to wrap or log off real quick, because I'm about to pass out.
As Flesh just falls out of his chair while we're talking. Listen, guys, if you like what I'm doing and you're not turned off by my gigantic, enormous ego ass, go to the link in my description. Find something there that serves you. I've got books. I've got my Patreon with the instruction course. I've got my website, which you can look at if you want services done, or consultation, or readings, or whatever. And of course, I've got my Teespring, where you can buy tapestries like that one. And I have an Etsy store, which we'll hopefully be updating soon. It really depends how long it takes. So if you want to help us out, thank you so much. For those of you who donated tonight with Super Chats, thank you so much. We really appreciate you. That means Flesh Priest is actually going to get paid tonight for the first time in a while, because we have a $100 threshold. So we reached it. Fleshy's getting paid. And see, that's how much I don't care. I'll tell people what the truth is. So we appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for coming out. And we'll see you next week. Next week, it's going to be April 1st, isn't it? Ooh. Well, hopefully nothing bad happens. But
April Fools.
Fleshy and AC, you guys say goodbye. I promise all I will say is good night at the end. I'm going to shut up.
Good night to you all. Yes.
Yeah. Everybody, we love having you. And it's been fucking wonderful. And tell your friends and warn your enemies.
Yes.
Mind the shadows.
And be excellent to one another.
Where the fuck is the button? It's goddamn thing.
What?